Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
And I'm Ira.
and welcome to the Mustacast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As always, free Palestine, and do everything you can to support them. So, what cartoons have you been watching lately?
Let's see. I did manage to catch another episode of the Mighty Nine. Just one, not much, but I had only watched the one before, but now I have two under my belt. And again, still enjoying it way more than Vox Machina, but it's definitely one of those shows, and it's like an end of the week kind of show for me, where it's like, because I have to be like really locked in to watch it for some reason. But I'm enjoying it so far. And it's making me remember why I liked Vox Machina in the first place, and it's kind of making me want to go back and watch season one, and then I guess the season that I didn't end up finishing. So that's nice. That's nice. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else animated that I've caught wind of. Nope, I think that's it. Just that other episode of the Mighty Nine.
Cool. For me, still watching Batman Beyond and Justice League Unlimited alongside Blind Wave. I watched another episode of Star Wars Visions, um, Volume 3, Episode 4, Bounty Hunter. A rogue bounty hunter takes on a job for a shady industrialist that has unexpected consequences for her and her droid. It was really good. It was animated by
Ooh.
Wit, who animated the first three seasons of Attack on Titan, and they animated
Oh wow.
Vinland Saga. So yeah, it was good animation, fun story. Um, and yeah, I think I'm like halfway through the season. I'll get around to finish it
Mhm.
eventually. Uh, I forgot to mention it in the last episode, but I'm still watching Fiona and Cake. And enjoying it a lot. A lot of people have been a bit disappointed at the lack of dimension hopping that the first season had a lot of, but I'm enjoying the kind of slice of life that this season is. Um, it's just about a young person trying to make their way in a weird and magical world, and that resonates with me because Adventure Time has grown up with us, and it's now at the same point of life as we are now.
Mhm.
Fiona feels like she's in like her mid 20s, so like yeah, it just hits for me. And
That's so crazy. Oh, go ahead.
there's like there's still I've mentioned before. This is essentially just a sequel series to Adventure Time, and this season, Hunter's Wizard is a big part of the story, and we still get a fair amount of the characters we know and love from the land of Ooh. So it still has a bit of that dimension hopping because Fiona and Cake's world is a different dimension than the main Adventure Time universe.
Mm. It's just crazy to me to think about like the fact that yes, I am in my mid-20s, or at least about to be. And it's like, when did Adventure Time start airing? Like
2010.
2010, 2011? Yeah. And it's like, to think that like it's been 10 years, but it doesn't feel like 10 years at all. It's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might have almost been 10 years since it ended.
Oh wow, that's diabolical.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick. 2018. So we're coming up. Yeah. Uh,
Say one more time? Huh?
it was 2018 that it ended. But yeah.
2018. Oof. So
Uh,
far and yet so close.
yeah. I also I got Arcane season 3 on Blu-ray and 4K, and finally got the art book. Um, I didn't realize season 2 had even come out on disc yet, but I saw that when I put those in my cart on Amazon. I was like, might as well grab the art book too. I've been meaning to grab this, so yeah,
Yeah, like that.
got a little gift for myself. But yeah, I also watching Mighty Nine. I'm fully caught up. Which 6 episodes out right now. And it's real good. Episode 5, still the best episode so far.
Ooh.
We get into the backstory of Liam O'Brien's character Caleb, and it's very captivating story, but also heartbreaking. It's real good. And episode 2 is where they introduce Jester and Ford, right?
Mm.
Yeah. What do you think of episode 2?
I thought it was really good. Of course I lose my train of thought as soon as I open my mouth. Hold on. I can't believe I lost it. Really good. it made me super super excited for the rest of the season. And now that you've said that episode 5 is the best in your opinion, I'm very excited to get to it. I already kind of was to watch the rest, but now I'm like, I'm hyped. I have something to look forward to, you know?
Yeah, it's real good. But yeah, last in animation, you informed me that there was a trailer for Trigun Stargaze, a
Yes.
second trailer, and it looks great. The
Mm.
animation by Studio Orange is fantastic. Initially everybody was concerned that it was 3D, but the first season, Stampede really proved everybody that, like, yeah, Studio Orange, they're about that 3D life. They do it better than
For
anybody
sure.
else.
Mm.
With like Beastars and Land of the Lustrous, they just do it. They do it the best, and it looks incredible. Um, and you were mentioning that it looks a lot more faithful to the comic than the first season, at least from
Definitely.
the glimpses of it we get in this second trailer. And I definitely agree. I have a feeling it's probably still they're probably still going to make probably just as many changes as they did with the first season.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
and I didn't like all the changes they made in that first season, especially I've talked about it to death, but like them having Vash be depressed most of the show rather than like hiding it behind his goofy antics kind of like removed a key part of his character for me. And I think that's also
Right.
because they're trying to tell the whole story in 2 seasons, so they just didn't have time to build that up like the manga and original anime does, which is unfortunate.
Mm.
And they introduced, what was it, Millie's uncle, uh
Um, are they actually related? I don't remember.
but somebody who knew Millie, and he was like in her place in the story, and then now
Mm.
she's being introduced in season 2, and that was also another really weird decision. Like, why not just have her be there
Yeah.
the whole time? But otherwise, it was good overall. It was great. I definitely plan on uh rewatching season 1 dubbed because I watched it subbed. Gotta hear
The dub is so good.
gotta hear
The
my
dub is
guy
so good.
John Young Bosch as Vash again.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and like some of the characters are getting redesigns in the second season. Meryl has redesigned, Millie showing up for the first time. Wolfwood has the same design, but it's a good design. It's like the only difference is his shirt's gray instead of white in comparison to the original. So it's like the gray is weird though because it's kind of just it's too dark. He should just have a white shirt. But
Yeah, and I heard in that panel I saw at Otakon, I want to say like 2 years ago, that it was a purposeful choice, and it's like he's not quite at the level of priesthood that he was in the and I was like, that makes sense, but it doesn't make it a good character design
exactly.
decision.
And the less we say about Vash, the better. His character design in this is just honestly not good. He's just
It's kind
not.
of trash.
Especially when you compare it to the original, it's like, oh wow, you just decided to take away everything that made Vash's design iconic. Good job.
At least they kept the beauty mark. At the very least, I can give Studio Orange that much.
Now he has his hair
Because
back,
I've
but he still has that fuck ass jacket.
hopefully, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. If they're gonna play the Trimax route and have it be more accurate to the manga, we get a
Yeah,
costume change.
yeah,
I
because
have
he
I have my hope.
he deliberately gets a new costume in the manga in
Mm,
Trigun. So hopefully that happens. Because
yeah, because that coat is so
yeah,
sauceless.
his design is
It's
just so lame in this version. Everybody else
it's
looks
like
cool
they
though.
took they took everything that made Vash the Stampede, like Vash the Stampede, and then kind of like turned it down 7 notches so he could just be desirable anime boy, which I'm not a fan of. Because it's like Vash's whole thing is he's weird. He's not, you know, he's weird. He's a weirdo, so he should look like a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to comics. What books have you been reading lately?
So, I started my reread of House of Leaves, like I said I was going to. And that's been really, really good. Reading it again with a fresh set of eyes and knowing how it ends has like fundamentally changed the reading and experience in a way that like I cannot begin to explain. That's like House of Leaves is one of those books where it's like you just have to experience it for yourself. You can listen to video essays and people talk about it all day long, but the only proper way to experience that book is to read it yourself. And I won't lie, it is very hefty, but
What's
it's
House
worth
of
it.
Leaves?
House of Leaves is a metafiction novel done by Mark, and I'm going to butcher his last name so bad, Daniel Lusky, I think it is, in which it's a some guy finds or some guy like loots the place of his friend's dead landlord, and finds like a manuscript he had written before he died about a movie. It was a like an analysis book about a movie, but the thing is the movie does not exist and never has, and the guy that wrote it is blind and had been blind for decades while he was writing it, so there was no way he could have seen this movie to begin with. And so like it's gradually like unraveling that narrative like of this impossible movie. So it's like a story within a story. So it's like we're learning the story of this movie that does not exist, of the author or like the dead landlord's thoughts on it, and then also the story of the guy that found the manuscript through like footnotes and appendixes and like crazy text formatting. It's a really neat book.
It sounds cool.
It is very cool. The narrative is very compelling. There's a Doom mod based on it, actually. Hmm.
That's random as hell.
But very random, but it's well made. It's called myhouse.wad. Check it out. It's pretty good. The author put a lot of work into it. But other than House of Leaves, reading Witch Hat Atelier still. I'm caught up completely now, and that's been great. Shadow's House has started to update again, so I'm reading that. What else? What else? There was one other thing I was thinking about. One of those ads on Instagram where it's like the manga with a really divisive plot point, and it's like, oh, my sister's husband hates me, but actually loves me in secret, and like the weird ads. This particular one was about a like a wife who gets rated on a point scale by her husband, but she never scores above like 40 points because he hates her and he sucks, and he like tells her explicitly like you have to become a 100-point woman for me, and then she finds out he's cheating, and so the rest of the manga is her gathering evidence to expose his infidelity. And usually these mangas don't really like interest me, but this one, it got me. It's called 60 points is enough for a wife, I think, something along those lines. And that's it for me.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
It is.
But yeah, for me, I read Radiant Black number 36, slowly catching up on that. I'm fully caught up on Grimm now with issue number 22. I read the latest issues of Ultimate Black Panther and Ultimate X-Men, and I caught up on Daredevil. And I'm excited for early next year. Daredevil is going to be being written by Stephanie Phillips, who's
Ooh.
the writer of Grimm. Um,
Ooh.
and yeah, I'm really excited for that because Grimm's really good. I love Daredevil,
Mm.
and it's gonna be exciting. I'm probably gonna start getting that get that physically. Um,
Ooh.
went to go pick up my comics on Wednesday, and I decided to get Batman. Added it to my pull list. Got issues 3 and 4. 4 is the latest one, so I read 4. I'll probably go back and read 3 as well, and 1 and 2 whenever I get it. They didn't have 1 and 2 at the moment, but once they're back in stock, I'm gonna get 1 and 2, and it's on my pull list now.
Mm.
So I'm getting the current Batman by Matt Fraction, drawn by George Jimenez, and that comic's real good
Ooh.
so far. That's why I started collecting. I was like, I gotta get this physically while it's still early
Fire.
in the run, rather than waiting until it's like way late.
Mm.
I finally caught up on Nightwing. I read the 2025 annual and issues 28 through 31, and in the latest arc, they've reintroduced the original Nightwing in a very interesting
Oh.
way. So Nightwing was a Batman style vigilante on Superman's home planet of Krypton, um, who even had his own Robin named Flamebird. And after Superman told Dick Grayson the story of Nightwing, that's when he dropped the Robin persona and took up the mantle of Nightwing. And they're bringing back that
Oh.
original Nightwing, Nightwing Prime, in this story in a very fun way that I'm really enjoying.
That is really
Yeah,
fun. I'll have to check this comic out. Sounds interesting.
yeah, the current run's really fun, but they didn't like start from number 1, so it starts at number 100 and something. um,
Fascinating.
I'm still reading Supergirl at number 6. I read Green Arrow number 29, the New Gods number 11, which is written by the same person that writes another book we're going to talk about later. Um, and it's a book you really like, New Gods. Green Lantern Dark
Mm.
#7, Justice League Unlimited #12, DCKO tie-in, uh, Justice League Red #3, the final issue of Batman and Robin Year 1 #12, which was really good, and I would suggest anybody who wants to learn more about Robin, especially Dick Grayson Robin, read this. This is the perfect like starting point if you want to get into specifically Batman and Robin. Um,
Ooh, noted,
yeah,
noted.
it's Batman and Robin Year 1, first year of them working together as teams. It's real good. Uh, read Batman, oh excuse me, Absolute Batman, 2025 annual, and it was just Batman beating up neo Nazis. A good time.
Mm-hmm.
Read Superman #31, DCKO tie-in, The Flash #36, DCKO tie-in, Immortal Batman #3, and it's finally starting to get good. The first two issues I wasn't feeling. This is Kyle Higgins, same writer as Radiant Black. Radiant Black heavily inspired by Power Rangers, and so is Immortal Legend Batman. And
Mm-hmm.
first two issues just weren't hitting, but the third issue, they finally got me. And I was like, okay,
That's a
it's getting
relief.
good. It's getting good. Read DCKO #2, and Absolute Wonder Woman #1 and 2, but unfortunately, we aren't talking about that one this episode. That was meant to be our next review, but Bree was sick for a bit, so we'll be talking about that next episode. Now that Bree has recovered.
Yippee!
But before we get to the comic we will be reviewing for this episode, I did want to mention that DC Comics now has an IG titled DC Comics. The other one I think is just called DC Official. They have a page called DC Comics that is specifically for comic book related news. Um, they're even posting about the comics that are releasing every week in their stories. So on
Ooh.
Wednesdays, they're posting like all the comics that come out on Wednesday, and I'm so happy. This means something to me, man. This
Right.
they're putting in an effort to like tell people about these books, and that's good. And I think this is a major step for advertising for the comic books specifically. And I hope that this brings in so many new fans.
I hope so too. Because it makes them a lot more accessible.
Yeah. Next, well, next we just have the book club. Getting into
Yes.
Aquaman Andromeda, written by Ram V, who is currently writing the incredible New Gods run right now. Um, Pencils, inks, colors, and cover by Christian Ward. Letters by Adita Bidikar, and edited by Chris Conroy. Quick
Mm-hmm.
synopsis. Deep in the Pacific Ocean sits Point Nemo, the spaceship graveyard. But it's not only ships that sit at these dark depths. There's a structure never made by human hands. And that structure seems to be waking up. The crew of the experimental submarine Andromeda have been chosen to investigate this mystery. But they aren't the only excuse me. But they aren't the only ones pursuing it. The master pirate Black Manta is on the hunt, and everything that attracts Black Manta attracts Arthur Curry, his lifelong foe, the Aquaman. But haven't helped them all when the door of the mystery at Point Nemo swings open to admit them. So yeah, this is a book that we've both read before.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
One of my first comics, actually.
yeah, and yeah, this was a few years ago at this point. I feel like time flies. Like sometimes, like I've recently was
Sure.
reminded that Alan Wake 2 came out in 2023, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That game came out
What?
last year. Yeah,
Right.
no, that game came out 2023, which is insane.
That's insane.
Uh, but yeah, we read this a few years ago, and it was awesome. And I forgot how good it was. As I'm rereading now, I was like, hold on, this book hits. I don't think I fully appreciated this book the first time I read it. Um, Christian Ward's watercolor art style, um, which is very appropriate for this book, is amazing. And it's just really good. I've read some reviews where some people kind of feel like sometimes it just gets too abstract, or like they feel like it's like too sketchy, and I'm like, nah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, it adds to it. It's like this book, to like the entirety of it makes it feel like somehow the art, the colors, the even the lettering like comes together and makes it feel like a fever dream. It's like it feels like the whole time I was reading it now with like this new lens of appreciation for comics, it felt like I was slipping in and out of a fever dream. And or not a fever dream, consciousness, in and out of consciousness. And I really, really like that. It's like hazy, but not like murky. It's fun.
we'll get into some, further synopsis of the individual issues, which there's three this time, but they were three long ass issues, like Wonder Woman Historia. They were each like 50 pages or something
50
like that.
pages, yeah.
And this time I read it in the full volume form.
Mm.
So in issue number 1, we start with the internal monologue of our main protagonist, Yvette, as she recounts how obsessed with the ocean her father was, and how proud he would be to know that she's a marine biologist. She's currently on an experimental submarine called the Andromeda in Point Nemo, on a mission to research a spacecraft that landed in the ocean. But before we learn that, we get a glimpse at the life of Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, as he comes to the surface in eastern Russia to live as a man and get away from kingly duties, and just be a human rather than Atlantean for a while. And he enters a philosophical convo about his two halves with an old Russian woman who tells him that he can't escape the other side of himself. It's after this that we learn about the mission aboard the Andromeda. Then we go to to the Easter Islands, where we find Black Manta accepting a job to intercept any data and materials the Andromeda team finds. Then we're back on the ship, where Yvette is finding it hard to sleep, so she explores the submarine and finds herself in the engine room, where she discovers that the engine is a prototype quantum gravity drive. That's when a shockwave hits the sub, and their comms guy, says that the UFO scanned them and now knows the shape of their submarine. Meanwhile, the ship that brought them to Point Nemo, the Esperanza, is being attacked by a kraken when Aquaman saves the crew. And during all of this, we discover that the Andromeda mission is a secret op uh, that nobody knows about, so they're not supposed to be there. So yeah, what are your initial thoughts on issue number 1? Or I guess just your thoughts
um,
overall, because this is the first time reading it.
yeah, I guess in this reread, I do like that they kind of set it up. Also, I'm getting a little ahead of myself actually. The narration style reminded me a lot of Wonder Woman not Wonder Woman Historia. Which one was that? Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, where it's like the story's told through a very specific character's eyes and their narration. Like Yvette's style of narration and like the way she talks about the things that like happen in this reminds me so much of Ruthie. And I really, really like that because it makes this seem more like a myth than it is something that actually like happened in air quotes. And I really think that lends to like the eldritch horror angle they're trying to go for. And so like seeing that set up in these early pages where it's like, yes, it's about the Andromeda and this thing they found in the ocean, but it's also kind of like a not an origin story necessarily for Aquaman, but like like I guess you could call it like cultural context. And I really like that.
Yeah, it definitely sets up the main plight of Aquaman's character very concisely in like 2 pages. And Ram V is just a great writer, and this reads almost like a novel. Um,
Oh, for
and even
sure.
without Christian Ward's beautiful art, you'd still get the full picture just from the way Ram V writes it. And
Hmm.
you also get a understanding of Black Manta's character, and also just a couple of pages. Like this comic does a great job of just introducing you to Wonder Woman. Why can't I speak? This comic does a good job of introducing you to Aquaman and his world in a very short period of time. This
For
is, I
sure.
think, the perfect introductory Aquaman comic.
And then it also does that thing where it's like it tells you a lot, but it doesn't tell you too much. So it's like in reading this comic, it made me want to learn more about Aquaman rather than being like, oh, okay, I got all my context here from Andromeda, so I don't need any more. Like I want to see other people's takes on the character. I want to see what like the proper backstory for him is in air quotes. Like I want to learn more about Black Manta and why he's a hater. Like.
One of the biggest comic book haters of all time. It's crazy how much he hates Aquaman. Um, but yeah, Aquaman's design in this is also really cool and much more like a sea creature, where he has like super pale skin and his eyes are black, and then his costume is like made out of like corals, and it's different colors. It like has some purple in it as well instead of just the orange and green, and it's a very fun design. Very,
Very much so.
yeah, very much
It
like
makes it
a,
a treat to read.
yeah, an ocean creature.
Mm.
But yeah, moving on to issue number 2. It starts with the crew of the Andromeda suiting up to dive into the ocean and enter the UFO. And their dive suits are sick as hell. They have gills built into like the rib part of the suit that extracts oxygen from water for them to breathe and turns the oxygen into, or excuse me, turns the hydrogen into power. This is the kind of cool tech you can only get in an Aquaman comic. These suits are really cool.
They are, and I'm honestly really, really glad that they explain the technology behind it. Usually in like comics and movies and stuff and games, it's like the technology exists, but there's no reasoning for it. And like I'm one of those people that like gets curious about stuff that like doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But it's like when I see tech like this in comics or in movies, I'm like, I want to know about that. Tell me tell me about it. And I like that they like really broke it down in the like, in the scientific language they would use to talk about it in like a briefing or something like that. Because yes, I had to Google some words, but I enjoyed that process.
Yeah, very fun explanation.
Mm-hmm.
When we return to the present, or wait, I'm skipping lines. But yeah, next we see how the captain of the crew felt ended up on this mission, and we learn that he's a recovering alcoholic. Uh, a surprise tool that we'll use later. When we return to the present, the team enters the ship, and it's a very alien construction, and I mean that literally. It reminds me of the Alien movies, and as a result, it reminds me of Metroid, since I'm currently playing Metroid Prime 4, and those games are
Mm.
heavily influenced by the Alien franchise. The ocean very much mimics outer space in its vastness and emptiness, and that makes sci-fi work really well within it in the same way it does
Mm-hmm. Like
space.
Selma.
Mm. As the crew explores the ship, floor collapses under them, and Yvette gets separated from the others alongside Ivanov, where they're saved by Aquaman, who tells them to leave. Meanwhile, Black Manta is waiting for the crew to find something valuable so that he can kill them and rob them. And while he waits, he decides to board their submarine, the Andromeda. Yvette and Ivanov go back to the sub, which allows Manta to sneak in using the cloaking ability the suit has, which is suit in this. His suit's also really cool. And the designs of both Aquaman and Black Manta feel like they're heavily inspired by the first Aquaman movie by James Wan from like, what was that, 2018?
I think so,
Especially
yeah.
Black Manta suit, and Aquaman's suit doesn't look like his suit in that movie. The suit in the movie is very, very comic accurate, very good costume. But this, he has a tattoo in his arm that is very much just a tattoo that Jason Momoa has, which isn't a thing that Aquaman usually has. Um,
Mm,
which I think that's very interesting how they took visual inspiration from that movie, which it is a
for
really
sure.
good looking movie from a visual standpoint. I like the first one. The second one, not so much. First one's a good movie. Okay, yeah. Black Manta sneaks in behind them while the rest of the crew that Yvette and Ivanov left behind continue to explore the ship. And they reach the core of the alien craft. And once they're there, they begin to be mind controlled and relive their worst nightmares while simultaneously bringing them to life. According to Aquaman, that's what created the Kraken that attacked the Esperanza. One member of the crew, Murphy, is killed while Captain Felt and one other member escape. Back on the ship, Manta corners the comms officer Anders and threatens him to give him access to the ship. Soon after, Felt returns, and after having his fears and insecurities stoked by whatever he made contact with on the ship, he attacks two people and is killed by Ivanov. The cosmic horror is dialed up a lot this chapter, especially with a great like unknown creature driving people who see it insane. What did you think of issue number 2?
I thought issue number 2 was really good. And like the fact that it plays on that like cosmic horror that we cannot comprehend kind of thing, but does it in a way where it's like we are the ones causing, I guess we being the collective we of humanity are the ones causing the horror in this situation is fascinating. It's a fascinating concept. And I love like just everything that I can't remember the name of the thing. It's like the Everdark, something like that.
The Dark World.
The Dark World. Yeah. I love everything that it stands for because it's like it the fact that it pulls from like fears, like thoughts, but mostly like fears, I think is really, really fascinating because it's like there's nothing scarier in my mind. Like no eldritch creature can be scarier than your own thoughts and your own anxieties and your own fears made manifest. And
Yeah,
it's like I thought about all the things that I worry about in a day to day and how like that would work with it, and that's terrifying to think about. So they nailed the horror aspect
yeah.
of it,
Rather
I
than it
think.
being like Cthulhu, if you look at him, you die because you don't understand it. It's like instead your brain rationalizes it as something that you do understand and that you do fear.
Right.
Yeah, in issue number 3, the final issue, we get a glimpse into Arthur's past with his father attending their lighthouse. And we learn how Atlantis fell to the ocean depths from a story from Arthur's father. Magic in Atlantis was performed by pulling power from a place called the Dark World, and it was described as reaching in with ambition and the Dark World reaching back and making it manifest. But soon the Dark World started listening to the minds of Atlanteans, and not just the wizards and witches, and made their greatest fear manifest, which was Atlantis sinking, because this was before Atlantis took, and it was above the ocean. Um, in fear of this power, the Atlantean wizards cast the Dark World into the stars. The wizards used the last of their power to save Atlantis and teach their people to live under the sea, and eventually magic disappeared. But one day, the leader of the wizards dreamt of the Dark World returning and awoke, hoping that the Dark World did not hear his request. But it did. Um, Back in the present, the Esperanza was discovered, and now ships of war are on the water above the Andromeda and have discovered them and starts firing missiles. When Aquaman comes in and blocks them, but is knocked out in the process. During all of that, Anders, the man that was threatened by Black Manta, attempts to resurface, but some of the other crew members try to stop him, and one of them is shot by Anders in the ensuing struggle. Ivanov subdues Anders when the pilot of the Andromeda, who's injured during the explosion of the UFO, awakens and calms everyone down before coming up with a plan of escape. The plan he comes up with is to use the Andromeda's experimental engine to blow up the UFO alongside the dead bodies of their comrades to cover everything up. Before all of this, though, Yvette brings an unconscious Aquaman aboard the ship, and as she waits for him to wake up, she reveals to Ivanov what memory the Dark World is resurfacing for her, which is the memory of her father falling off of his boat into the ocean, her trying to save him, but his body never being found. In return, Ivanov reveals what memory has been haunting him. He tells her that in the mid 90s, he ferried refugees from war torn countries for a price. And one night, they were at risk of getting caught, so his superior forced him to cut the rope that was tugging the refugees' raft, leaving them to die, stranded in the middle of the ocean. It's here that we see a panel of an eyeball that's half submerged in water that looks like a black hole that is really cool. I was like, that's some good art right there. Some good
It
symbolism.
was. It was. This whole chapter was just like really bleak though. It made me
Yeah.
so sad.
Once Aquaman awakes, the plan commences, and Yvette and Ivanov take the bomb to the ship. Meanwhile, Black Manta's men infiltrate the Andromeda and kill the remaining crew while Manta enters the ship ahead of Aquaman, uh, with a hit of Aquaman, Yvette, and Ivanov. Once inside, Aquaman is struck by the Dark World's power, but instead pulls on the memory of living with his father at the lighthouse to kind of offset the negative emotions. As he enters the chamber where the Dark World is imprisoned, he finds Black Manta fighting a monstrous version of himself and steps in to fight it to distract the Dark World while Yvette and Ivanov place the bomb. Ivanov tries to contact the remaining crew and tell them that the bomb is set, but he realizes they're dead once he gets no answer. He then decides to stay behind and detonate the bomb, now that it can't be done remotely, and Yvette argues against it, but then he reveals that he didn't just cut the rope of the refugees' raft, but shot holes into it, guaranteeing their deaths. And after hearing that, Yvette agrees to escape alone. Meanwhile, Black Manta awakens after being knocked unconscious by the Dark World and exclaims that he refuses to let the Dark World steal his kill and saves Aquaman before Ivanov sets off the bomb.
And that's
Yvette,
that's the mark of a true hater.
for sure,
Okay.
100%. Yeah, Yvette struggles to escape the ensuing black hole, but then Aquaman saves her and Black Manta. And the book ends with Yvette waking up on the same East Russian shore Aquaman visited in issue number 1. So yeah, that little symbolism, the black hole in the eye, came back with, Ivanov creating the black hole when he blew up the bomb. Also,
I do love that it. Oh, mm-hmm.
Black Manta had a lightsaber randomly, which was random as hell. But I was like, I mess with it.
Very random, but it looked so good, so I couldn't even be mad at it. And I really love how it all came full circle in the end. I think that's a really, really fun thing to do, especially with like a cosmic horror where it's like you see the symbol and it's repeated over and over and over again, but it only gains realization at the end of the horror. And I think that really like cements in the like, wow, I see why you kept showing me these arcane visions.
Yeah. A quote that I love from issue number 3 came from Aquaman, where he says, "Is this how I go? A boy trapped under the weight of being a king?" And it's another one of the things that is just a simple but brief explanation of just everything that makes up who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real good. And like you said, Black Manta refusing to let the Dark World steal his kill and save Aquaman. Big hater energy. Um,
We'd love to see it.
but yeah, also the existentialism of the Dark World, and it
Mm-hmm.
pulling from people's desires, both good and bad, is just a really fun concept. Um,
I love when they do like that thing of like the whatever the like evil power is in air quotes has no morality. It's about the morality
yeah,
of the person that uses it. I love that. It's one of my favorite tropes.
yeah, for sure. This is why I think in live action, the next Aquaman needs to be another person of color. Jason Momoa is a mixed guy of Pacific Islander and white, and we specifically need somebody with that exact same like racial makeup again, because I think they should like pull a Black Panther, Wakanda Forever with a Namor, who came first, by the way. Namor was before Aquaman by like like a decade at least.
Oh wow.
And they made him a like native Mexican, and leaned into that culture, the Aztec culture and all that, and that was really cool. And I think you could do something similar with Aquaman and make him a Pacific Islander. And you don't even necessarily need to have. I don't think you don't need to make Atlantis specifically lean into that culture the way they did with Tolo Khan, in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Instead, you could just have his like culture on Earth, like his like the human side of his family, be Pacific Islanders. Um, like in the movies, what's his name? I forget his name, but the guy who plays Boba Fett in Star Wars movies, he not Boba Fett. Well, he does play Boba Fett eventually, but he's not the original Boba Fett. He plays Aquaman's father. He's Pacific Islander. He's New Zealander, and his mother is a white woman, and she's an Atlantean. And you could do that same thing. And I think him being biracial is important because Aquaman very much is like his story is an allegory for being biracial, where he's trying to figure out like he's never Atlantean enough for the Atlanteans and he's never human enough for the humans. And I feel like that allegory works better if he's a person of color who's mixed,
Right.
with a fictional part fish part white person race, rather than just being a regular white man who's part fish. It works better if he's also a mixed person of color. um,
Right.
and I think that's a very important part of his character that
Me
they could
too.
really mess around with, and have fun with,
For sure.
next time he shows up
There's so
in
much
live action.
potential.
Yeah, love this comic. This comic's great. It definitely
Mm.
makes me want to read some more Aquaman because I haven't read a lot of Aquaman. All right, moving on to TV and film. What have you been watching lately?
TV and film wise, let me think. It's a hard thing. I don't watch much TV. Oh, I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast at all, but I watched that one Netflix original series, Baby Reindeer. And it was really good. It made me really sad. Just like between the premise and like the execution, and it's like I had to keep reminding myself that like in this particular, like, yes, it's based on a true story, but these are just actors in this. And the guy that wrote it is also like he plays himself in it, and like he does a really really good job at like kind of making that making the story seem like both something that really happened to him and also like a dramatized version of events. And I haven't like seen that kind of acting in ever, I don't think. And it was really nice to see. And I guess I feel like I watched a movie recently, but I can't. Dance Moms. I've been watching a whole bunch of. That's what I'm thinking of. I've been watching a whole bunch of Dance Mobs for some moms for some reason because that's what we've decided is our like show of the season in at our workplace. And it is really interesting, but it is also really sad the way that Abby Lee Miller talks to those kids.
Yeah, I've heard things about that show.
Yeah, it's truly the show of all time.
All right. For me, I don't have much either. I watched Running Man in theaters. It was a good time. Uh, Glenn Powell is an infinitely charismatic actor and kills every role I see him in, and this is no exception. Um, the Running Man is based off of a 1982 novel by Stephen King, and this is the second adaptation of the book, with the first one releasing in 1987, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, It is described as, in the near future, The Running Man is the top rated show on television, a deadly competition where contestants must survive 30 days while being hunted by professional assassins. Desperate for money to save his sick daughter, Ben Richards is convinced by the show's ruthless producer to enter the game as a last resort. Ratings soon skyrocket as Ben's defiance, instincts, and grit turn him into an unexpected fan favorite, as well as a threat to the entire system. This is directed by Edgar Wright. Uh, I gave it a 3.5 on Letterboxd. It was fun and had a decent message about how corruption, um, how corporations run the world, and don't care about anything but lining their pockets, even at the cost of people's lives. The ending wasn't really satisfying to me, and was apparently uh, a departure from the book in some ways. But
Oh, boo.
Stephen King himself liked it, so
Yeah,
you know,
that's that's a
as
good
long as
thing. At
long as,
least,
as, long as he liked it. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that's all I have. Moving on to trailers and news, we got a teaser trailer for Supergirl. Um, and yeah, it's releasing July 26th, 2026. Yeah, so 666 is crazy.
Very crazy.
uh, how does it feel to see a trailer for a comic movie and know what scenes from the comic that they're pulling from?
It's so strange. It's like I in watching the trailer the whole time I was like, wait, I know when that happens. I know when that happens. And it's like I've never had that for a comic book movie before. And like it's really fun, but it's also just it's so weird.
It looks very Guardians of the Galaxy ish, despite not being directed or written by James Gunn.
Hmm.
And so in this trailer, which is a teaser, the visuals are kind of bland, especially in comparison to that beautiful book we read. And I want
Yeah.
to hope that's because the big stellar moments are in post production right now. And,
I hope
this
so.
is just a teaser after all, not an official trailer. And that, in an official trailer, we'd see something, more exciting, more beautiful, more bright and vibrant,
Right.
like a green kryptonite sun or something like that.
Yeah.
If they don't have any of the incredible vistas from the book, though, I'm gonna be beyond disappointed. I'm gonna be so
Me
upset.
Me too. Cause it's like that's the whole like honestly, that's what makes Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow so special is like how unique it is visually.
Yeah. Dizzy McAlpine said it best on Twitter in response to a tweet from YouTuber High Top Films. They say, as evident by the art you've shared here, Woman of Tomorrow is a swords and sorcery story set in space. Ruthie is a princess, Kara has a sword, they travel across medieval fantasy lands, etc. The film seems to abandon much of that aesthetic for a very dry and bland sci-fi look, and I agree. Um, it's very much a space opera. It's a combination of sci-fi and fantasy in a very similar way to like Star Wars. And
Right.
they're leaning too hard into the sci-fi aspect for this. Um, and
Yeah.
and you look at it and go like, man, James Gunn would do it better because Have you seen any of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies? Those are sci-fi movies that are colorful as hell. That do actually
Right.
like. I'm honestly upset that this isn't the one he directed. Like Superman, I liked it, but I think somebody else probably could have done it better. Supergirl,
Mm,
though, I think he probably would have been the right person for Supergirl, based on his work on Guardians of the
yeah,
Galaxy, because that one is a spacefaring story, and we've seen him do that before. And I kind of wish he directed this because visually it would look much better if he did.
for
But
sure.
again, it's a teaser. It might be better. Um,
I hope so.
but she had a line that I forgot to write down that was like beat for beat directly from the comic. Oh, she said she was talking. Ruthie asked her like, "What was it like to see your planet die in a day?" And she said the line from the comic where she said, "Krypton didn't fall in a day. God's not that kind." And that's exactly what she said in the book
Mm,
when Ruthie asked her that. And then another thing she says, and I can't remember if it's from the comic or not, but it was just a good line. She says, no, I think it was that she did say in the book. She said that Superman sees the best in everyone. I see the truth. And I'm like,
yeah, no, that was directly from the comic because I remember that line. It
it,
stuck with me.
it looks good. It looks good.
It does.
I have faith.
I have faith too. And you know what? You know I have faith because I'm gonna go see it in theaters. You know me.
Me, you,
It takes a
me,
lot.
me, you, and Bree got to go see it together.
For sure. That would be fire.
Yeah, me, you, Bree, Christian, we all got to go see it together and then talk about it on the pod.
Dude. Yeah.
But next, we have Netflix and Paramount are attempting to buy Warner Brothers. And this is the biggest threat to movie theaters and physical media we have ever had.
In recent memory.
SAG-AFTRA and many other TV and film guilds and unions are staunchly against this purchase, and so should everyone listening right now.
Right.
It was bad enough that Disney was allowed to buy Fox. Now Netflix is attempting to buy WB and become just as big of a monopoly. One company owning everything isn't a good thing, especially when that company has been trying to kill a very specific aspect of the film industry for years. And
Mm-hmm.
the company they're attempting to buy has been one of the last bastions of that corner of the industry. Competition breeds innovation, and it keeps the cost down. And when everyone is trying to fight for our money, you know, they can't afford to get too expensive because otherwise nobody's like, we're going to go to the cheaper
Gonna
thing.
buy it.
Um,
Right.
but if Netflix buys WB and folds HBO into Netflix, like Disney did with Hulu, then kills theaters, you can bet that the price of Netflix will become higher than Netflix and HBO are right now combined.
Oh
And
yeah.
there would be nothing we could do about it because they would own half the damn industry. So it's either buy it or just sail the high seas.
Yeah.
Um, also, like we're saying, theaters. Netflix's CEO Ted Sarandos previously said that people want to watch movies at home rather than in theaters. He said,
Which is not true.
"What is the consumer trying to tell us? That they'd like to watch movies at home. Thank you. The studios and the theaters are duking it out over trying to preserve this 45-day window that is completely out of step with the consumer experience of just loving a movie." This is coming from Ethan Shanfield at Variety, and that's just plainly not true. Like you said, movies are not in theaters long enough for people to have this thought, and people are asking for movies to be in theaters longer.
Right.
I feel like Sinners is a great example, which is a film that's produced by WB. Um, and like Ryan Coogler convinced everybody to go see that movie in theaters at IMAX because he just talked about how cool IMAX is, and it finally turned me on to how cool IMAX is. Um,
Mhm.
like people want to see movies in theaters, but also my thing is, movie theaters don't hurt Netflix.
Right.
Like offering people the unparalleled movie theater experience just for a little over a month before it hits digital and streaming does not significantly harm Netflix. They're just greedy and want everyone's attention and money on them at all times. If it was up to them, we would
Right.
be living in the Wally world where we're all just floating in chairs watching Netflix. Netflix also sent out
Hilarious.
an email confirming the purchase, even though it hasn't gone through yet. I don't know if you got that email. Um,
I
but
did, unfortunately.
Wetter Schneider on Twitter says Netflix is phrasing it like it's a done deal, but confirmation/approval doesn't happen until the end of 2026 or early 2027. This is called manufacturing consent. They want to avoid giving people a chance to process this, and they're pushing a narrative that everything is fine. And it's already done. It is not. My knee-jerk reaction is that this is a bad thing. My deeper thought is that it's worse than we can imagine. HBO
Mhm.
needs to stay its own company and its own player in the wider film and TV game. Like, this is crazy. This is ridiculous.
Right. It's absolutely absurd, even.
This should not be happening. I feel like this was David Zazav's plan. He just wanted to
Yeah,
sell it and
probably.
make more money and be done with it. This is insane. I can't believe it.
Mm.
But yeah, that's all I have if you don't have anything else for TV and film.
Nope.
All right, moving on to video games. What have you been playing?
I've got a lot for this section, actually, surprisingly. So me and my girlfriend, we finished Lies of P, and that was really, really nice. But we recently bought the DLC, Overture, and it is so much better than the main game.
I was about to say, is it as lit as it looks?
It's so, listen, like if Lies of P, I would give Lies of P a solid 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10, right? And Overture gets a 9, a 9.5. I won't go as far
Awesome.
as to give it a 10 because we haven't finished it yet, but it is so good.
So you finished
It's
the main
one of
game.
the best. Mhm.
You saw the teaser.
Yes, and I am so like
That's exciting.
when I say
That they're going
me
to
and my
go to
girlfriend, like
the land of Oz.
right,
That's
like
interesting.
if anything to use as a sequel, The Wizard of Oz, that's how they know they made a good video game. Because it's like there's so many adaptations of The Wizard of Oz out there, like video games, movies, TV shows. Like there's so many adaptations of that story, so it's really got to stand out to be something special.
A Souls-like Wizard of Oz is going to be crazy. I'm curious what they're going to do. Are you going to be playing as Dorothy and you like summon like the lion and the scarecrow and robot as like stands from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or something?
That would go crazy. I was gonna say, given the gameplay of Lies of P, honestly, I don't think you're gonna be playing as Dorothy, and that's simply because like
I mean,
I
you
feel
play as
like you're going
Pinocchio.
to. I know, but like what I mean by that is like you're definitely going to encounter her at some point, and like, but she's not going to be the main focus.
Oh, you're going to be the Tin Man.
Yeah, or like the honestly, I would pick the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I
over
would
the Tin
too.
Man,
I would too.
simply because it's like, you know, the whole like I'm looking for a brain thing, and it's like they've already kind of played the angle of like P gradually becoming more and more human and like a lot of heart imagery. So I think that moving on to the brain would be really, really fun and like a logical next step.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Or they just don't do robots at all and you're the lion.
That would go crazy.
But I could
that's the steel chair, I fear.
I could see the Scarecrow being more magical versus technological, and that could be an interesting way to go. And I'm just imagining, goddamn Alphaba as a boss fight.
Like
the Wicked Witch of the West as a boss fight sounds so lit.
Right.
The Wizard of Oz is a boss fight where he's just using illusions, like he's like Mysterio from Spider-Man.
That's gonna go crazy! I'm so excited.
Well, like I bet
no idea.
they're gonna pull a thing where Glinda the Good Witch is secretly a bad guy, and you have to fight her too.
Honestly, probably. Thinking about how have you played the game?
No.
Did you finish it?
No, I've not played it. I played a demo.
Do you care about
of it a while ago.
spoilers?
No.
So they kind of did that already with Lies of P. And I guess not even a light spoiler warning because this is like the end of the game. But you meet Geppetto and like, you know, he's like, my son, this, that, and the third. At the end of the game, you fight like a puppet body he's made for his son because he's using the main character, like Pinocchio, as a conduit to bring back his dead son, which is insane.
Oh wow.
But
that's crazy.
I hope that if they do make it out that Glinda is secretly evil, they do it in an interesting way like that. And there's like other factors at play where it's like she's doing something evil, but she's not necessarily an evil person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, or it could be a situation like in the original story where it's like an accident or like a misunderstanding. Toto's secretly the villain. And that's why the Wicked Witch of the West is going after the dog. And you're a little dog too.
So besides Lies of P and Overture, I guess by extension, my Blasphemous rerun is going really, really well. I just beat Tres Anguistas, and I'm moving on to like the latter half of the game. And I feel a lot more prepared. I'm doing a lot better this go around because I'm like fully exploring areas before I fight things. And my deaths are becoming very few and far in between. So I'm getting better. That's really exciting to see.
I couldn't even begin to explain to you where I left off in that game because I don't remember names, and it's a 2D game, so description doesn't help very much.
Right, I was gonna say it's all fresh in my mind because I'm replaying it again. If you asked me where my other file is at, I couldn't tell you. And then there was another game. I'm getting a lot further in Metaphor Refantasio as well. We just left the second town and are headed to the third one. And we've fallen in with Luis and his flunkies, and that's kind of scary, but I'm excited to see where the game goes from here. And then I've started playing, I guess playing in air quotes because it's a visual novel, Umineko, with some friends of mine, and we're like voice acting it together because they wanted to experience the story too. And that's been really, really fun. We are definitely not far into it, like at the very beginning of chapter 1, but it's definitely more fun when you read it with friends.
Have you finished Dispatch?
Oh, yes. Finished Dispatch, cried. And
good shit.
And funnily enough, we ended my group ended up not romancing anybody. We were going for Invisigal. It didn't turn out that way. We were like in like the 4% of players that didn't
crazy.
romance anybody. I know. I've never had that happen to me.
The 4% of players that entered the game bitchless is crazy. No, I'm joking.
Wow. What if we're just gay? Huh? Did you think about that? No, I'm kidding. But I really
that
like
makes it
the
worse.
End of Dispatch. I really like the end. I'm definitely going to miss Robert Robertson and his silly crew.
Robert Robertson III.
Robert Robertson III, man.
Did you guy. When you get to the point where you have to give Shroud, his name's Shroud, right? I'm thinking the streamer. Mm. Whenever I say Shroud, I'm imagining the streamer Shroud. But you give him the pulse. Did you give him both or just one of them?
We gave him both.
His reaction when you give him both is so fucking funny. You hand it to him and he looks down, looks at Robert, and he goes, "What the fuck is this, Robert?" Right. He just waits a couple. They look the exact fucking same. Robert, what's happening? And then just that one dude off to the side is like, "We should test it when we get home." He just goes, "Shut the fuck up." He got so mad. He gets so mad when he doesn't have control of the situation.
And I love that. I love that he gets like comically upset at it because it really shows like just how much of Shroud's whole like aura is a facade. And I really, really like that. I think that's fun. And it like, it was getting real serious for a minute. I was like, ooh, it's a little bleak. But then like that was just the right amount of comic relief where it's like, okay, I feel like things are going to be okay from now on and not horrible and evil.
Did you kill him?
Oh, did we kill him? No, we left him alive, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
I murdered that man. But I ended with Invisigal. My God, it was great. Did you manage to save the city?
We did.
I did. So
it was one of the.
So you got what's his name back on the team? Sonar.
Yep, Sonar. It was definitely one of the toughest dispatches. Like we were all kind of locked in, fighting for our lives.
That one wasn't fair because, like I said before, that dispatching episode 7 was the best dispatching in the entire game, and it would like
for sure.
It like melded the story and the gameplay together so perfectly. I loved it, but also because that was the first and only time you do that, there was like no time to like get good
learn
at
the
it.
Mechanics.
So like this is your first time doing it, so just if you mess up, you just mess up, and that's the end of it. So I feel like that is something that should have been done in the game at least once before. And preferably, honestly, every single time it should have been like that. Being honest,
right? And like I could see a way it could work so well. They could have done it with what's his name, the guy, the like radioactive waste guy with like his wang out, Toxic, I think his name was.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a really good low stakes introduction to that mechanic, but
yeah.
it can't be perfect. Hopefully in season 2 though they fix, kind of the issues with the actual dispatching itself, because it has the potential to be fun,
Mm.
as we see in this last like little bit, but it just falls a little short,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Would you prefer they continue with Robert Robertson III or go to a different city with different dispatcher, different heroes?
See, I don't know. And that's the really big thing about a season 2 for me, because it's like part of me wants it to just stay Robert, because I love Robert and I love the Z team. But on the same token, I want to see what a dispatch like the SDN would look like in, like, I don't know, San Diego, in Baltimore, somewhere crazy.
Dispatch in Baltimore would be great.
True.
I'm of course always playing Marvel Rivals. Rogue came out today, as of recording this.
Ooh.
And I played one game with her in the morning before work. Rogue is a Vanguard, aka tank. Thank God. We don't need any more DPS, even though next season we're getting 2 DPS. We're getting well, actually, I'm not going to spoil that. We're going to talk about that in the Game Award section because that's where they revealed it. I played one game with her this morning, and she's very fun. But I'm going to save that conversation for next episode. And give my more comprehensive review, because this episode is the end of this episode is going to be a lot. Still playing Ghost of Yote. I've given it a break because of Metroid Prime 4, but I was playing it a lot before Metroid came out. On the in between weeks since we last recorded, and the puzzles in Ghost of Yote suck. They need to go away. Why are they there? They're not good. They're annoying as hell. But the ninja area in the game, which is the northern part of the map, it's snowy region, has been the best so far. I've now left that region. I've gone to a different one, but it was so good. The gameplay evolution and the story and the characters were just so good in that section. The whole story is you're playing as Atsu, who they call the Onryo, and she's hunting down the Yote 6 who killed her family, and you're going after the Kitsune. And the story involving that is so interesting. I predicted it, but not in the. But what was fun about it is that I predicted it, but then it came true, but not in the way I thought. So I was still surprised, and I was like,
"We
"That's
love
lit."
to see it.
And I'm not going to spoil it for you because I know you're going to play this.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
absolutely.
it's real good. The snowy area is real good, and I finally got the Kusarigama, and that's fun.
Nice. It's always so funny with this game, because in Ghost of Tsushima, I honestly would argue that the snow area was also the best part of the game. It's like, if what's the studio that does these games called? It's slipping my mind.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, if Sucker Punch can do anything, they can do a winter snow area. Yeah. We love to see it.
That's why they got to make an Infamous and have the main character have ice powers.
True.
Give me an Infamous 3. But yeah, but speaking of Metroid Prime 4, I've been playing that nonstop.
Is it everything you hoped for?
And more. Like every day I've been playing it. I put a break on Ghost of Yote. Still been playing Rivals, but I've been playing Metroid Prime nonstop, and it feels like a combination of old school 3D Zelda and Halo.
Ooh.
The levels are a bit more linear than you'd expect from Metroidvania, and from reviews that I've read, it's more linear than like the very first Metroid Prime. And each level is more like a Zelda dungeon where you get a key upgrade that's then used to solve the dungeon. But in true Metroidvania fashion, there are also some areas locked behind upgrades that you'll find in other dungeons, and you'll be forced to backtrack and come back to get those upgrades and stuff.
Ooh.
The worst part of the game is the desert. There's a middle desert area that connects all of the different parts of the map, and it's just this big empty open area, and it's annoyingly large. Like, it's unnecessarily large. Like, traveling it is just annoying. It's just cumbersome, and there's no fast travel system, so it's just fucking annoying.
Ooh,
I hate it.
Yikes. No fast travel.
There's nothing to do in it. There's like a couple. They try to do like the Breath of the Wild. What do they call those things?
Like shrines?
Yeah, they try to do the shrines, but there's just not enough of them. And there's also just nothing else there in the desert, so it's just boring. The desert sucks. But when you're actually in the different levels, it's fun. Another minor gripe I have is that there's an option to call an NPC named Miles McKenzie in the pause menu, but he's never available. And I was hoping that he would function as this game's equivalent to the codec system for Metal Gear, which I've said before is the greatest hint system in all of games.
True.
if you're ever lost or confused about what to do in Metal Gear, you can call one of the several people in your codec and they'll give you a hint. Instead, Miles will just call you randomly when you don't need him, and it's annoying.
No.
Yeah, I look, I get it. Okay, Metroidvania. I hate that things aren't automatically marked on the map. Okay, if I find something
Yeah.
and I can't get access to it because I need an upgrade and I'm gonna have to come back later, I have to manually mark it in the map. Get out of my face. It's
It's absurd.
2025. That's stupid. Mark it in the map for me so I can remember. Otherwise, I might forget. Or almost not. I might go.
Right.
Uh, like this is insane. At least make it an option. Yeah. Uh, Otherwise, the game's great. The combat isn't bad by any means, but it's not
Mhm.
my favorite necessarily. It's more about timing your shots than actually aiming, and I wish that it was actually about aiming.
Oh.
And I haven't
Mhm.
fully gotten the hang of the whole timing thing. But the combat shines in the boss battles. All of the bosses so far are
Ooh.
incredibly fun and force you to utilize your full arsenal in a very fun way. It's a good game, having a good time.
That's
Um,
good.
but as I play it, I can't help but think about like what would my perfect 3D Metroid look like. Whenever you
Mm.
switch between morph ball mode, the camera is briefly over Samus's shoulder, and it made
Mhm.
me want a third person 3D Metroid so bad. My perfect third person Metroid would combine the combat of Returnal, the level design of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is this like wide linear level design mixed with some Metroidvania elements, and then of course we just have the aesthetics of Metroid Prime. Um,
Of course.
like those three games combined would make the greatest 3D Metroid. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4, I'm having a good time. Excited to finish that, and then eventually I'll hop into Metroid Dread. I also have Metroid Prime 1 remastered. I got it the
Ooh.
same time that I got 4, so I'm excited to play that as well. So last in video games, we have the Game Awards 2025.
Yippee.
Just a few days ago on a Thursday, December 11th, was the Game Awards, and it was decent. It was a decent Game Awards. It can't hit the highs of last year's because last year's was the 10th anniversary, so they had to
Right.
do it big. But this year was also pretty good. We're gonna start with the award winners. So, starting with most anticipated game, we had the nominees were 007 First Light, Grand Theft Auto 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. And the winner was, can you guess it?
Mm. I'm trying to think. Probably Grand Theft Auto. More than likely.
Yes, it was Grand Theft Auto 6.
I was gonna say because I didn't even know The Witcher 4 was coming out. I don't think, or if I did, it slipped my mind.
Yeah, when did they? I don't remember when they showed that. Maybe it was at Game Awards last year. But yeah,
Mm.
I don't think it's coming out. It's definitely not coming out next year. It's probably coming out the year after that. At the earliest, but might not even come out then. Like that game's a while out.
Yeah, definitely.
They say that they're gonna try and release. I think they said 3 Witcher games within like 6 years of each other. Like
That's kind
within
of
6 years they're gonna
insane.
release. Like I know they're making a remake of the very first Witcher game, but that's coming out
Mhm.
after Witcher 4, and they're also making a sequel to Cyberpunk. So I'm like, I mean, Cyberpunk was a mess, and like I can only assume that they've learned a lot since then, and I want to have
Mhm.
faith that this is gonna go well. The Witcher
And
4 might end up being my first Witcher. It depends on like how many games have me distracted over the next year and a half. That'll keep me away
mhm.
from checking out The Witcher 3 again. But the last time I played Witcher 3, I didn't like it. But I feel like I might like it a
Makes sense.
lot more now since I've played Cyberpunk and like that a lot. And I'm also way
Mm.
more into The Witcher now than I was back then. But next we have Best Adaptation. The nominees were a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell Death Watch, The Last of Us Season 2, and Until Dawn. Not Sonic. They just forgot about Sonic 3.
That's
Um, I
crazy.
also somebody also brought up something else that came out, like within the voting time period that they also left out. But ultimately, it doesn't matter because of course the Last of Us Season 2 won. No
Like
matter,
over Until Dawn, like it wasn't even a contest because I watched the Until Dawn movie and it was
yeah,
terrible. Like really bad. Like I think the thing, honestly, I feel like Until Dawn shouldn't have even been in the running because no one was going to vote for it. It has nothing to do with like the games themselves. except like very, very loosely kind of following the idea of like, oh, these people get stuck in a place and there's some supernatural force killing them all. But it's so like cartoonishly goofy and gory. It's such a bad
It's a
movie.
classic. It's a classic case of the director or writers or whoever was like the lead on that project. They wanted to make something original, but the only way they could get the script greenlit was by attaching an IP to it, and that happens all the time, and it sucks to see.
Very much does. And it's like with Until Dawn especially, it's really disappointing because it's like that had the potential to be a really good movie given what it is.
Exactly. Just do the story of the game with all of the same actors, because all of those are live action actors.
Right. How do you fumble the bag that hard?
Yeah, it's crazy. That movie could have been incredible if they just brought back everybody and did the movie like the game, and it would have brought in a whole new audience. And you know, they're supposedly making a sequel. They teased a sequel in the remaster of the first, well, I guess the only Until Dawn game. And to fumble the movie like that, which would have brought in a much bigger, you know, player base for that game, is insane.
Yeah.
But next we have Best Multiplayer. The nominees were Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction. And the winner was Arc Raiders, which I'm not surprised.
Really?
Yeah, it's been making waves.
Makes sense. Because my thing was, I thought Peak was too, but I guess not as much as I initially thought.
No, it was just that. I don't know. People probably don't. I don't know. It's something about Peak. I don't know. Arc Raiders, I feel like it's bringing people into a genre that they've never played before. But at the same time, Peak did start Friend Slop, so like it was definitely
right.
It was definitely a competition for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Next, we have Best Sports / Racing. The nominees were EA Sports Football Club 26, F1 25, Mario Kart World, Rematch, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. The winner was Mario Kart World. For Best Sim / Strategy, the nominees were Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evilist Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Tempest Rising, The Altars, and 2 Point Museum. And the winner was Final Fantasy Tactics. For best,
people were that into Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh yeah, that game has been doing very well. Even though I think from a visual standpoint, a lot of people were very, very disappointed. People wanted it to be in like a HD 2D style remake. Instead, the visuals of the game aren't great, especially by modern standards. Coming from Square Enix and seeing the HD 2D stuff that they've done before, it's like, why didn't you just do that for this game? But overall, people still really like the gameplay and the story.
Makes sense.
For Best Family Game, we have Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction. And the winner was Donkey Kong Bonanza. For Best Fighting Game, not surprising. For Best Fighting Game, we have 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtual Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. And the winner was Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, one of the only actual like new fighting games that is actual full release. So that's not a surprise because 2XKO hasn't come out fully. It's in early access. And the rest of these are collections of video games or a remaster.
That existed already.
So yeah, it makes sense that the only actually new fighting game won. Next we have Best RPG. The nominees were Avowed, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, The Outer Worlds 2, and the winner, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Surprising no one. Though, you know, I wouldn't have been surprised if Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 won, but I was fully expecting Clair Obscur to win.
Obscur, yeah, for sure.
For Best Action Adventure, we had Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction. And the winner was Hollow Knight Silk Song. Which a lot of people are like always super hard on Jeff Keighley because he's the face of this, and any small problem that happens, it's his fault, despite the fact that he's one man and like dozens of people make this event happen. People were mad at him because he made a little like snide remark about how Team Cherry said they wouldn't come to the Game Awards, and he said, look, see, because they were like, Clair Obscur's gonna win. But he was like, see, look, you won something. And I watch Kind of Funny Games on YouTube to do like daily gaming news and journalism, and they have met him and they know him to an extent, and they said that's just his type of humor. He wasn't like trying to
Yeah,
like
it doesn't.
be an asshole. He was just like making a little joke, like, "See, you guys could have came. You won something." But also,
Right. Like
they're in a
I
different
honestly didn't
country,
read it.
and they didn't want to
Yeah.
come to America to get potentially no awards or just one.
And it's like I didn't read it as snide. I thought it was just like, haha, you should have been here. It's silly. It's good fun.
Yeah, but I don't know. People
I'm
just
sure.
it's the internet. They
Yeah.
just like to get upset. Any excuse to get upset, they like to do it.
Mm-hmm.
For best action game, which is weird, there's a best action adventure and action game category, but that's a different conversation.
Yep.
We have Battlefield 6, Doom: The Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi: Art of Vengeance, a game I've purchased but not played yet. I played the demo, but I haven't played it yet. And the winner was Hades 2.
Ah.
Yeah. For best VR/AR, we had Alien Rogue Incursion, Arcane Age, Ghost Town, Marvel's Deadpool VR, and Midnight Walk. And the winner was the Midnight Walk.
Ooh.
For best mobile game, we have Destiny Rising, Persona 5: The Phantom X, Sonic Rumble, you know how to pronounce this Pretty Derby game. How do you pronounce it?
Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
And Wuthering Waves and Pretty Derby 1.
Of course. Don't stop. No, don't stop to the finish. This is a sign, everybody, that you should get in on the horse game gotcha. It's a good game. And the horse girls are so cute.
Yeah. The nominees for best debut indie game were Blueprints, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Despelote, and Dispatch. And the winner was Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Also, people trying to claim that Clair Obscur was not an indie game on Twitter, you're stupid.
Insane.
Because
like people perceive indie games like they can't even look like they had a big budget. Or can't have a big budget at all, which Baldur's Gate 3 was an indie game, guys.
Right.
That was made by an independent studio. Just because they just happened to get a lot of investors to, make a more expensive game than what you're used to seeing from indie games doesn't change the fact that it's an indie game.
And it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me because it's like, if anything, we should be celebrating the fact that indie games are getting more complex and starting to look better because that means that the indie game market is getting better.
Exactly.
People want more indie games, and so they're funding them. Like, this is like the least of an issue that it could be.
Yeah, and like funders are recognizing that the most interesting ideas are coming from indie games and not AAA, and that's why they're putting their money there.
Exactly.
For best indie game overall, the nominees were Absalom, Ball X Pit, Blueprints, Hollow Knight Silksong, Hades 2, and of course the winner was Clair Obscur Expedition 33. For best community support, we have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. And the winner was Baldur's Gate 3. For best ongoing, we had Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky. And the winner was No Man's Sky. I think Marvel Rivals should have won that.
Oh, wow.
Because No Man's Sky has gotten that award several years in a row. Give somebody else a chance.
I was going to say, it's past its prime. We get it. The game got way better after it released.
Exactly.
Okay, whoop-de-doo.
Like, I don't think the update was this year was so big that it should beat out a new game that has been doing a lot of really good stuff.
Right.
For Games for Impact, we got Consumi, Despelote, Lost Records Bloom and Rage, South of Midnight, and Wanderstop. And the winner was South of Midnight. For innovation and accessibility, we had Assassin's Creed Shadows, Atomfall, Doom: The Dark Ages, EA Sports FC 26, and South of Midnight. And the winner was Doom: The Dark Ages, very deservedly. A lot of good accessibility in that one. For best performance, we had Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, Erika Ishii, Jennifer English, Konatu Kato, and Troy Baker. And the winner was Jennifer English from AL and Clair Obscur Expedition 33. For best audio design, we have Battlefield 6, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, and Silent Hill F. And the winner was Battlefield 6. Also, a lot of people like, even myself, I thought like shooting games usually win this because they have good audio design, but that's kind of boring.
Right.
But then I was watching Kind of Funny Games, and one of them broke it down. I was like, no, that's not true at all. Um, I think only the very first year, I think Call of Duty Modern Warfare won, and then this is the second year that in the like over 10 years at this point that a shooter has won. It's like it's been a very diverse amount of games. It's been racing games.
Oh
It's
wow.
like what is it? I want to forget the name of that game. The rhythm action game by the studio that made The Evil
Um,
Within. I forget the name of that game.
it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I'm forgetting it too. The one that got shut down by Xbox, but then picked up by another studio, right?
Yes.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yes, Hi-Fi Rush. Like that one year too. So it's like there's not just shooters. But for best score in music, we have uh Christopher Larkin for Hollow Knight Silk Song, Darren Korb for Hades 2, Tomo Otawa for Ghost of Yote, Woodkid and Ludwig for Cell for Death Stranding 2, and Lorien Testard for Clair Obscur Expedition 33, who was the winner. It was so good. It was so good.
I know, but one day Darren Korb will get his flowers. One day.
Look,
He's such a good composer.
It was just a stacked year.
Yeah.
For Best Art Direction, we have Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. I voted for Hades 2, and I think Hades 2 should have won, but the winner was Clair Obscur Expedition 33. But at the same time, I can't be mad because that game looks good.
Right.
For Best Narrative, we had Silent Hill F, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Ghost of Yote, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33, who won again. Real good story. Don't get spoiled. You gotta play it fresh. For
I haven't seen anything about it, surprisingly.
Good. For Best Game Direction, we have Split Fiction, Hades 2, Ghost of Yote, Death Stranding on the Beach, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I also voted for Hades 2 here, but the winner was Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
33.
And Game of the Year, the big one, we had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Hades 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33, who of course
oh my gosh, was it Donkey Kong?
The winner. Yeah, this was a Clair Obscur Expedition 33 sweep. Like weeks ago, I had already like made the post saying Clair Obscur Expedition 33 sweeps the Game Awards. I preemptively made that for Instagram when we upload this episode because I was like, it's gonna happen. So yeah, Clair Obscur won it all. Some people feel like the love should have been spread, and like with Battlefield 6 winning, best audio design, people have like false memories of like how these categories tend to go, and think that this has happened before, and it hasn't. It doesn't usually go like this. Sometimes games that win Game of the Year also win Best Game Direction, but they don't also tend to win music and narrative and so on and so forth.
All these other categories, yeah.
This is a rarity, and it's because Clair Obscur Expedition 33 genuinely hits on every single one of those levels. Like, this isn't arbitrary. This isn't a popularity contest. It's just truly like, oh yeah, they did really good in all these things, so people nominated it for all those things, and it won.
And it's like I can understand the disappointment, but on the same token, it's like Clair Obscura Expedition 33 seems to be something really special. Like the fact that it did come out and sweep in all these categories isn't like a small feat, especially for an indie game. Like that's unheard of.
Yeah, and something people love to do with games that introduce them to a new genre. For example, like Clair Obscur is getting a lot of people into turn-based RPGs, and I've said before, if Persona 5 wasn't the game to do it for me, this definitely would have been the game. And a lot of people, I'm sure did this with Persona 5. At the time, I wasn't as online as I am today to know, but like people are like talking down on other RPGs, being like, yeah, this is what an RPG is, and I was like, no. Especially since on stage, as they're accepting their award, one of the devs straight up thanked the creator of Final Fantasy, Hamaguchi, for creating Final Fantasy and directly inspiring everything about this game because they love RPGs and they love Final Fantasy and they wanted to basically make a Final Fantasy game, and they did even better. So it's like, yeah, like people are looking at this game and going like, oh yeah, please, Final Fantasy, Square Enix, make your next game like this. Like
Right.
Final Fantasy fans are looking at Clair Obscur and going like, this was awesome and
We want this.
reminds me of old school Final Fantasy. Bring this back. Like we don't have to put down older things just because there's a new thing. Especially you don't have to put down something that you didn't like in a specific genre just because there's something else in that genre that you finally like. Like I don't like most Souls like game, but I'm not talking shit about them just because I like Elden Ring. Like
Exactly.
it's like
Mm.
stop it. These people, especially making fun of the games that the people who made the game you like is
I
insane.
was saying somebody has to pave the way. And it's like if it was not for these games that you all were dogging on, there would be no Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So count your blessings.
Yeah,
Okay, it could be bleak. Final
exactly.
Fantasy was the Final Fantasy is called Final Fantasy for a reason because it was supposed to be the last one from Square Enix. Let's not get too cocky here.
Yeah, but yeah, good. Uh, good. It was just a good game for years. A lot of stacked year, but Clay Obscure somehow swept, which is honestly that is the biggest insane
Right.
feat. Except that this year was so stacked, yet Clay Obscure still swept.
Still won.
That's
Like
insane.
up against Hollow Knight Silk Song and Hades 2, some of the most anticipated indie games of all time. You still swept? That's insane. And that's why, even though I was rooting for Silk Song and Hades 2 especially, I'm giving Clair Obscur its flowers because it deserves it. And then some.
Yeah, you got to play that after you finish Metaphor.
I definitely
It's
will.
also significantly shorter.
Yeah, Metaphor is so long. I'm loving it, but like, god damn, that's a long game.
Yeah. But moving on to the trailers, I of course sent like a dozen trailers um,
Mhm.
that we're gonna go through, starting with Decrepit. According to Steam, Decrepit is a first-person action game with Souls-like combat where every death drags you back into the depths. Learn the dungeon, master the combat, and find your way out of the Forsaken Castle. Releasing sometime in 2026. So this is a first-person Souls-like, and
Mm,
it looks kind of horror adjacent, very very much. Um, and I want a good like horror based first person Souls like. Was I forget
for
the
sure.
name of the game? Um, but there's a game being made by the devs of Ghost Runner that is similar. It's a first person Souls like that has some horror elements that looks really cool as well. And I'm like, give me more first person Souls likes. Seems cool.
Mm-hmm. Untapped genre for real.
Yeah. Next we have Bradley the Badger. Bradley, the beloved platforming icon, finds himself lost in strange new lands and decides to fight back. Shape unfinished worlds with your game developer powers. Explore a genre bending story and save your home in this unique action adventure. Evan Peters is voicing the
Mm.
titular character, Bradley the Badger. Evan Peters, of course, played Quicksilver in X Men Days of Future Past. Uh, and yeah, it was so random seeing him in this trailer. I he
Mm-hmm.
it was very strange. This game, a lot of people are excited about this game. It's made by ex Rockstar devs, um, and it doesn't necessarily interest me, but a lot of people who just have a lot of insider knowledge are more excited about it, and that makes me want
Yeah.
to keep my eyes on it. But at the same time, it doesn't look that interesting to me personally. I'm not the biggest 3D platformer guy, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really capture my attention. How about you?
I like what it is in concept. It's just not my kind of game. I really I don't know. I'm not a fan of like this kind of setup for a 3D platformer where it's like, oh my gosh, a silly character gets transported into a not so silly world. I think it's trite and overplayed. But I am happy for the people that are excited for it, and I get why the hype around it. It's
Hmm,
just not for me.
cool. Next, we have Stupid Never Dies. Werewolves, lizardmen, skeletons. In a world where monsters are a part of, or excuse me, in a world where monsters are a part of everyday life, a bottom-rung zombie named Davy braves a deadly dungeon to bring back Julia, the frozen human he loved. Gear up for a delightfully wild, blazing fast growth action RPG. It was introduced with a like pop punk musical number that I wasn't a fan of and initially turned me off. But then they showed gameplay, and then it caught my attention, especially when he turned into a werewolf. It's giving Lollipop Chainsaw vibes,
I was about to say the same
and I'm
thing.
kind of messing with it.
This is what the Lollipop Chainsaw remake should have been, I
Yeah,
fear.
yeah, this looks interesting. Next,
Hmm.
we have Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic. This is coming from Kristen Baver at StarWars.com. In Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic, step into the role of a Force user on a journey through a galaxy on the edge of rebirth at the end of the Old Republic. The brand new epic narrative single player action role playing game from Argonaut Studios, developed in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, was announced on stage at tonight's. That didn't say tonight. I don't need to read that anyway. What I do need to read though is that it is being developed by a new studio launched by Casey Hudson, the director of the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and the Mass Effect trilogy. But yeah, they say it's going to be blending innovative storytelling, memorable characters, and heart-pounding combat. So yeah, this game is probably like 7 years out. It is in early development,
Yep.
meaning that this was just an ad for hires. Games do this all the time. They announce themselves at the very beginning of development so that they could, put feelers out for potential hires. So yeah, we're not going to be seeing this for a while, but it's exciting. I like Star Wars.
Very exciting.
The
It looks cool.
the Old Republic games didn't. They're not really my style, and they're old. They're supposed to be remaking the first one, but I think that might have been quietly canceled. But we don't know. As of now, it's just vaporware. But yeah, it's I'm curious to see how this will play, especially since I'm more into RPGs than I used to be. From like the old games were kind of like Baldur's Gate, so if this is like maybe Baldur's Gate 3 but Star Wars, I could get with that. That sounds cool. But it'll be a long time before we see.
Yeah.
Speaking of Baldur's Gate and games we're not gonna see for a long time, we have Divinity. The gods are silent. Revelin bleeds. New powers stir. Built by the team who brought you Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios. Larian Studios unchains its ambition to bring you an RPG with greater breadth and depth than ever before. No release date, because this also is in early development. But it's not a new game. I could have swore they said that their next game was going to be a completely original IP. This is a sequel or a reboot.
Really?
Yes, Divinity Original Sin. There are 2 of those games. Or there might actually be 3 of them. Yes, this is a sequel. This is this is a sequel to an existing franchise. This is not a new game. They lied. They lied.
Fool me.
But assuming it's probably gonna be like Baldur's Gate 3. I saw some gameplay of like the original Divinity games, and yes, they are very similar to Baldur's Gate. So I assume this is gonna be like that, but a lot more violent. This trailer was very violent, very nasty. Next,
I kind of like that though.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play this before Baldur's Gate 3. Who knows? Next, we have Coven of the Chickenfoot. After the dungeons have been plundered and the monsters all killed, an elderly witch quietly gets to work. In this emotionally rich, stylized single-player adventure, Gert will need to build a bond with a peculiar creature if she's to fulfill a coven's oath. I assume Gert is short for Gertrude. This game looks really cool. You play as an old lady with this weird creature. It reminds me of what is it called? Eco? No, not Eco. It's by the same studio, but it's a different game. It was the last game they made. I'm pretty sure.
The Last Guardian.
Yes, it reminds me of The Last Guardian.
Yes, for sure.
Very similar.
And I think that's really cute.
And I hear that
it's like.
I hear that the AI is gonna be like crazy.
That's exciting.
Like the AI of the monster specifically.
It reminds me of if like The Last Guardian kind of like this is a kind of morbid way to put it, but that's like the best way I can think of. It's like the last Guardian wearing the skin of Journey, and
Yeah.
the other game by the Journey devs, I think like Children of the Light or something like that.
Yeah, I see what you
And
mean.
I
Yeah,
like,
on the Steam page they say, driven by innovative technology, Wildflower has created unique companion-based gameplay where your creature companion can observe, learn, and develop new behaviors based on contextual situations, which is insane.
that is insane. But I'm so
Yes,
excited
I'm very
for
interested
it.
in this. This looks really cool.
And also, Gert is so cute. The creature is also so cute.
Yeah. Next, we have Ontos, a sci-fi mystery set on the repurposed moon Hotel Samsara. Uncover cryptic experiments, face unsettling encounters, and piece together a mind-bending narrative. The deeper you go, the more the truth unravels as you confront the ultimate question: what is reality? Coming sometime in 2026. This is from the creators of Soma, and
Yes.
it is a spiritual
So
successor to Soma.
this game, when I saw like the beginnings of the trailer, I was like, "Oh, this game looks really neat." And then that from the creators of Soma popped up, and I have never gone to look at PS5 prices so quickly in my entire life.
Look, look,
Because
look.
okay, I'm listening. I'm listening.
You could convince me to part with mines and I would get the pro.
Mm, let's talk then. Let's talk. Because it's like if I don't get a PS5 for anything else, it would be for this. 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt. I cannot recommend Soma as like a video game and as a narrative enough. Like of all the like hard games I have ever played, honestly, of all the like narrative-based video games I've ever played, Soma is my favorite. And I think it will remain my favorite unless I play something that is really, really, really compelling. And so I was like,
So,
I've been quiet.
what kind of game is Soma? Because
Soma,
I feel like whenever I hear about it, I realize it's not for me, but it always sounds cool. And this game looks interesting, and it looks visually like I forgot what it looked like because I only watched the trailer once, and I like was rewatching it as you talked, and it looks really cool, like visually.
it is. And that's kind of what Soma looks like, that kind of like gritty, not gritty, but like it kind of takes that like space station, like sci-fi aesthetic and kind of gets weird with it, gets eldritch with it. I really, really
Almost,
like it. But
what is that game called? Bioshock.
yes, very Bioshock-esque. Soma is one of those horror games where it's like you're wandering around and piecing the story together through the tasks you do to like
Yeah,
move
I remember
through the
now.
various
I've heard people
areas.
call it a walking simulator, and I think that's why it never
It is.
interested me.
It is. Like I said, I love Soma to pieces. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It is definitely a walking simulator, and if you don't like walking simulators, you won't like Soma, or at least you won't like playing Soma. It's one of those games where it's like if you experience it, like experiencing it at all is like what is tantamount to your enjoyment of it. Whether it's like through watching a let's play or like playing it yourself or playing it with friends. As long as you get the experience, that's the important part
It's almost
because
like
the gameplay
Dispatch.
itself, yes, because the gameplay itself is like whatever. You're just walking around.
Okay.
It's the narrative that really shines. And I hope that is one issue that I have with Soma because it's like it makes it hard for me to recommend it to people because it literally is just a walking simulator. So I hope that Ontos does a little something extra with its gameplay, something fun.
In one
But even
moment,
if it is just
in one of the
mm,
screenshots, it looks like you have like a cattle prod, and there's a
oh
robot
yeah.
attacking you. So maybe this is taking some inspiration from Bioshock and is actually adding some
I hope
combat.
so. Because Soma doesn't have any combat. Soma is you hide from the things and they eat you if they catch you, which is like scary the first 3 times, and then after that you're just like, all right, get this big hulking thing out of my face.
Okay. Yeah, this looks really interesting.
It does. It does. I'm very excited.
Okay. Next, we have 2XKO. They revealed that it's coming to consoles in January, and this is free to play, so I'm definitely going to be checking this out when it comes out. And then we got a
Mhm.
tease of Caitlin Kierman as a playable character. Of course, most famous now from Arcane. Um,
Right.
and that's exciting. I wonder how she's going to play since she primarily is a sniper in the original game
Mm.
and in the show.
Mm. They'll probably figure out something fun to do with it, I feel
Yeah,
like.
for sure. There's been snipers in fighting games before, like Deadshot is in Injustice 2, and he's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but next we got a big one. Um,
Mhm.
Resident Evil Requiem. God, I wish this
Yeah.
wasn't spoiled for me by PlayStation themselves. Um,
Oh.
by making a mistake and posting an image on putting an image up earlier than they were supposed to. Um, we got a trailer for Resident Evil Requiem that delved deeper into the main story and introduced a second playable character, the character we all knew was going to be in the game, and that
Mhm.
they teased by saying at one point like, "Oh, Leon's too cool." And yeah, we got the reveal of Leon S. Kennedy in the game,
Yep. Mhm.
and you know we knew it was
And
going to
his
happen.
and
It
his
was obvious as hell. Yeah, PlayStation
mm,
released promo art early on accident, but I was still hyped. It
uh,
was good.
mm,
According to Jeff Keighley, as he said after the trailer played, the game will be split between Grace's more survival horror story and Leon's more action packed one.
mm,
I want it desperately to be another A B scenario. They haven't done that in the mainline games, like brand new games since I think two. And
oh.
oh wait, no, I think no, I think they did something similar in six, but it was slightly different. But like they haven't done it in a long
Mm,
time. But of course they
mm,
did do it in a remake of Resident Evil 2, and I want them to do it again. It's fun. But it doesn't
right.
sound like that's the case. It sounds like it's just gonna be you going back and forth between Grace and Leon. But I want to hope it might be A B scenario. That would be cool.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Grace is going to be more survival horror. Leon S. Kennedy is going to be more action. And that's interesting. Uh, and yeah, you know, we see as such as at the very end after the title card, um, we see Leon do his signature roundhouse kick, and he wields a chainsaw himself this time instead of being attacked by one. And in
Comes
the
full circle.
yeah in the cutscenes beforehand, we see him using an axe, and then in that gameplay segment, they have the UI up, and you see an axe symbol with a durability, um, like a bar next to it in the like bottom right corner under his health bar and ammo. So it seems like you'll have an axe this time instead of a knife like you did in 4 and 2. And I'm curious if it'll just be a parry tool like it is in Resident Evil 4, or if you can actually like perform like some sort of melee with it. We also saw some interesting looking like close up pistol takedown where he like put the gun under a zombie's chin, and I'm like, that's not something we've ever done in like in any of the Resident Evil games I've played. So I'm curious to see what that's about.
Mhm.
But yeah, it seems like they are pulling some stuff specifically from Resident Evil 6, which is kind of insane because people didn't like that game.
I
But
was going to say, yeah.
I mean, the problem with that game for most people, I haven't played it. Whether or not I'll play it before it gets remade, who knows? But is that it was too action packed and the story wasn't good. But people who play it say like the like action itself is good. It's a good like game mechanically, but it just didn't
It's just not Resident
yeah, it just
Evil.
didn't fit the vibes of Resident Evil. So I like with this that they're being like, okay, you will get a scary part with this character, but then you'll get a more Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5 style action part with Leon. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's really smart. And you can go between
Agreed.
first and third person, which is also really cool.
Ooh, that
Yeah,
is fun.
I'm curious to see what like the action is going to be like in first person. Like, what is that roundhouse kick going to look like in first person? I'm
Hopefully good.
but now that I know this is how the game is going to be, my plan was to play it entirely in third person first, and then play it entirely in first person second. But now I'm thinking I'm going to go play Grace in first person only, and then Leon in third person only, and then
Ooh, that's smart.
flip it for a second playthrough, and then for a third and fourth playthrough because it's gonna happen. I'm gonna
Of
do
course.
all third person, all first person. I'm gonna play this again like 1,000 times. I played Resident Evil 4 3 times in that year. It's a great game. But yeah,
Mhm.
it looks awesome. So in a GameSpot article titled "Resident Evil Requiem," devs say Grace and Leon sections are almost equally split. Um, and they detail Leon's Porsche, which he has a Porsche in this game for some reason, and they talk about
Hmm.
how he has a custom Porsche that was added to the game in partnership with Porsche. So I wonder if that rumor we heard a while back about it being like semi open world, if not fully open world, is true, or if it'll just be used for cool cutscenes.
A
I'm
part of me
not
hopes.
fully mad at
Mm,
the idea of open world Resident Evil game. More so like semi open world, like fully open world that could get messy. But like semi open world, looking at something like I don't know, God of War Ragnarok or like Star Wars Jedi Survivor, where it's like they're open areas, but it's mostly kind of a Metroidvania where you have to unlock things to, get around certain areas and unlock shortcuts and things like that,
Mm,
rather than fully open world, which, like I said, could get messy. That could be too much. But
very messy.
yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna. I hope that like it. I pretty much the same thing you were gonna say. Like I don't know. I just feel like the open world format wouldn't work, especially not for like the horror, like the portions that are supposed to be scary. Because it's like if I can wander, if I can wander, I'm gonna wander, and then I'm gonna miss all the other stuff because I'm gonna be wandering too
Yeah,
much.
it would be interesting if only Leon segments are like semi-open world, and like all of
Yeah, I think that would be a
Grace's are
good
like restricted.
linear. Yeah, I think that would be a good way to handle it.
Yeah, or they could just give us like a Resident Evil doesn't usually do this in my experience, but like an action set piece with the car, like something out of Uncharted,
Mm.
like that could be interesting.
That would be cool.
That'd be very different and definitely way more action oriented than I'm used to from Resident Evil, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
Right.
Okay, but next we have Order of the Sinking Star. From director Jonathan Blow of Braid and The Witness fame, Order of the Sinking Star is a narrative adventure set in a realm of magic and enigma. Solve over 1,000 interconnected, handcrafted puzzles, discover unique playable heroes, master evolving gameplay mechanics, and decipher a grand mystery. The release date is to be announced. Yeah, this game looks
Mm.
very complicated. So
It
like,
does.
there's like a multiplayer element where like each player is like in their own world with very specific mechanics and powers, but then they can cross
Mm.
over, and then you'll have to work together with other players with their very unique skill set to help you solve puzzles and you help them solve puzzles. And yeah, it just looks
Mm.
it's a lot
Kind of like
going
we were
on,
here
very
too.
complicated.
Hmm.
Yeah, this looks very
I,
intriguing.
as I say, I do like this trend we've been getting of like multiplayer puzzle games. It's really fun. And
Also,
while I probably
no, sorry, good.
no, as I say, while I probably won't play this unless like some friends of mine want to, it does look very neat.
It does say that it does have like a story, like an actual proper
Ooh,
story, so that's interesting.
okay, that is interesting.
It says it's told through gameplay and notes you collect, and it's this.
Mm,
So yeah, I'm curious how that'll work.
me too. I
Next
wonder
we
how even the split is, because a lot of games will be like, yeah, it's told through the gameplay and the notes, but it's really just the notes, and the
yeah,
gameplay like tells you one thing at the very end. I'm hoping it's not that.
yeah. Next we got a cinematic trailer for Warlock, developed by Invoke Studio. The game stars Katri, who is described in a press release as a veteran warrior who makes a pact to wield otherworldly magic against dark powers. Katri is also voiced by actress Tricia Helfer from Battlestar
Ooh.
Galactica, and I know her from Lucifer. She plays Lucifer's mother.
Oh,
Uh, and it releases sometime in 2027 with a gameplay reveal in 2026. Yeah, I read a bit of a Game Informer article by Marcus Stewart titled Warlock Dungeons and Dragons, which I should mention. This is from Wizard of the Coast. Dungeons and Dragon is a dark fantasy
oh,
open world action game. Um, so yeah, that Warlock, the Warlock class. And
oh, okay, that makes
they talk
sense.
in the article a little bit about like how why they chose Warlock over any other class, and it's because it's a blend of spell casting and high charisma, and they like that. And
Mm,
they thought that played really well in the open world game they're trying to make.
mm.
Which is yeah interesting. Say it's an action game. I assume it's going to be a character action game somewhat, or an action RPG at least, like real time action at the very least. I'm
Right,
assuming,
right, right, right.
and yeah. Um, well, actually, as I like skim through the article, they do say specifically that Warlock is not an RPG; it's a third person action game. So it's a hack
Mm,
and slash. So yeah,
fascinating.
you don't have a party. It's just you as a warlock. That's interesting. I'm very curious to see what this
That
looks
is
like.
really
But
interesting.
this seems like another one of those games. Like they say, I guess we're seeing gameplay soon. So it has been in development for a while. I was gonna say this is like um, Divinity or Fate of the Old Republic, where it's like they're not
Right.
they show CGI trailer because this game just started development. But no, they say they're showing us gameplay next year. So presumably it's been
Ooh.
in development for a few years at least. So and it's set. It actually has a release date of 2027. So this is a bit closer. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what it looks like come next year.
Mhm.
Next, we have Control Resonant. Explore warped Manhattan on the brink of paranatural annihilation in this thrilling action adventure RPG. Unleash the extraordinary powers of Dylan Faden as he fights for his humanity and our survival against a reality bending cosmic threat. Coming in 2026, and this is the sequel to Control, a game that I played and
Mhm.
didn't like when I played it. I might have to give it another shot. Um, but this one might have me. And this is really
Ooh.
making me want to replay Control to see if I like it, because this one is a
Mm.
character action game. It's a melee
Yeah.
game, whereas Control is a third person shooter, and also still very action heavy. This one is a melee combat game, which is very interesting and different from the first game. And I'm
Mhm.
very very curious to see how they make that work. Like they were
Also,
doing
just
straight up air combos, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
crazy.
And a Remedy game?
I really I really like the aesthetic of this also. The way the trailer is presented kind of reminds me of the beginning of this is going to be a really random comparison, but like the beginning of the Demon Slayer movie, the most recent one,
Mhm.
Infinity Castle. Do you see where my brain is at? It kind of
Yeah,
reminds
yeah, no, I
me
see what
like
you mean.
yeah. I like that. And while I don't know, I'll have to see your take on it before I think about getting it for myself. I do like it aesthetically though, if anything.
Next, we have Gang of Dragon, a new action adventure game from creator Toshihiro Nagoshi, set in the streets of Shinjuku, Tokyo, starring Ma Dong-seok as Shin Ji-sung. The story unfolds with heated and intense human drama across Shinjuku, including, let me see if I can pronounce this, Kabukicho, one of Japan's largest entertainment districts. This is from a former Yakuza death, uh, and
Mm,
you can definitely see it.
it shows.
And also, yeah, that the actor playing the lead character, very famous. Especially for playing that type of character in particular. I came across
Mm.
a video on Twitter of him in this quadrilogy of movies that he's in, just beating up some people in Middle Street. That was really funny. Um, and yeah, this is it looks like Yakuza, but you will be able to use guns in addition to hand-to-hand combat
Mm.
and drive cars, which is something that you can't do in the Yakuza games.
I was just like, which always was really strange to me that like Kiryu walks everywhere. It kind of takes me out of it a bit. It's like I'm supposed to be this powerful
he
Yakuza
just
guy, but
he
I'm
just
walking.
he just lives in a walkable city.
Yeah, fair.
um,
I think maybe it's jealousy. It's like, damn, not even the Yakuza need to take cars everywhere.
like yeah, it looks cool, and if it's kind of like yeah, an even more open world and like more diverse action and gameplay Yakuza, then that sounds cool. Especially if it still
Mm,
has like the wacky side quest. In addition to like
for
adding, you
sure.
could add even more wacky side quests with the addition of driving and shooting.
Hmm.
So like yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes.
Me too.
Okay, okay, okay. All right.
Okay.
Next, we got a trailer for the live action Street Fighter movie, and it was a decent trailer, to be honest.
Yeah,
But I have little to no faith in this movie. Um,
I'm surprised they're
and
even trying again.
I just don't like the vast majority of the casting. I don't dislike the cast except for one person who I absolutely fucking despise. I just don't necessarily agree with these people playing these characters. The
Right.
person I hate is Andrew Schultz, who's playing Dan Hibiki. Andrew
Mm,
Schultz is a comedian I used to love, actually, until he devolved into racism and ableism
oh,
and became a Trump
yikes.
supporter.
Oof.
On
That's a
top,
triple threat.
like so much so that he got on goddamn Kendrick Lamar's radar and he like dissed him in a song at one point. Like
Oh my
Andrew
god.
Schultz sucks. On top of all that, the character he's playing is supposed to be Japanese and he's white as hell.
Oh, oh, yikes.
Capcom, what are you doing? This is insane. So even though I don't agree with a lot of the casting, it is kind of really cool how many wrestlers are in it. There's a lot
They
of wrestlers in
tries.
this. And now I kind of wish like the whole cast was wrestlers. Like
Yeah.
that would actually be really fun. really fun. And something that someone mentioned online that I agree with so much is, we live in a world where people are like, I want to say specifically movies are so afraid of hiring buff women. Like it's a whole
Yeah.
different, like I understand the complications that come with being an actress who's very traditionally attractive, thin, maybe curvy in all the right ways, and then deciding for a role to put on muscle and how that could potentially have you become typecast now that you're buff. Everybody wants you to play the buff lady. I get that. But not
Mm.
even thinking to hire already fit actresses,
Right.
especially since they have a lot of wrestlers in this movie. Most female wrestlers are buff as hell. Uh,
Buff as hell.
I know
And
you've
like,
seen them.
oh, listen. And like, especially considering that one, I don't remember what game it's from, but that one render of Chun-Li where she has like she's, she's curvy but like also ginormous. She's stacked, right? And it's like
And like
it's crazy.
no disrespect to the beautiful woman playing Chun Li in this, but Chun Li is known for having thunder thighs. This woman,
Right.
beautiful.
Stick thin.
The
Stick thin.
I wouldn't go that far, but her legs aren't thick enough for sure.
Right.
Like Cammy,
It's
Cammy,
like
Cammy does look the part. I hear the actress isn't British, but hopefully she can do a decent British accent. If they make Cammy American, somebody needs to be slapped. What's going on?
I was just saying. Just throw the whole
The guy,
movie in the trash at that
that
point.
my second best casting.
Mhm.
After Ryu for me, because I think the Ryu casting is perfect. I don't know why his name escaped me just now when I like Andrew Koji. He's perfect. But the casting for Zangief is perfection. Um, he's a guy who he played a character named Polly in Reacher. And let
Mm.
me look at the actor's name. He's just this big um, Dutch guy named Olivier Richards or Richards. And yeah, he looks like Zangief. He's big. He's buff.
Yep.
He looks the part. Still, I've said it before. Like I'm upset that again, forgetting all of these names. Ken, the dude playing Ken, I don't like. I have no problem with him. I have a problem with him playing Ken. I can't even type right now. Noah Centineo. The reason I
Ah.
hate that he's playing Ken is because Ken is supposed to be the same age as Ryu. Noah Centineo is 29. The guy that's playing Ryu is like 40.
Oh.
Like Andrew Koji is, let me see how old he is. Maybe he might be a little bit younger than that, but he's definitely like significantly older. He's
I
38.
was like, because aren't they supposed to be like rivals? Like
Yeah, he's 10 years older.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could see them going the route of like Ryu. They still have a brotherly relationship, but Ryu's like an older brother kind of situation. I
Yeah.
could see that working, but it's still, or maybe just having either Andrew Koji play younger or Noah Centineo play older, or both. Maybe Andrew Koji's 38, but he's 38's not that old, and it's not like he looks old. You could have him
Right.
potentially play maybe his character's like early to mid 30s. And Noah Centineo, I'm not saying he looks old, but he could reasonably like pass himself off as being like early. I mean, he's almost early 30s, so like early 30s, mid 30s, and you could make it be like they are around the same age in the movie, even though the actors aren't in
Mm.
real life. Maybe that's what they're
Mm.
doing. But if that's
I hope
not, if there's
so.
not, if they're not doing either that or the like they're still brother, like they still have a brotherly relationship and train together, but Ryu's just older brother. If they're not doing either of those things, I'm going to be upset. Like I need
Yeah.
them to have an established brotherly relationship that we either see get built in this or is already, a thing. Um,
Right.
Now he got jacked. He looks the part for sure. Um,
Oh, definitely.
I don't know, something about his face, handsome guy, but he doesn't give Ken in the face for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. His casting is just weird to me. They got
Mm.
goddamn uh we talked about him earlier. The dude who plays Aquaman, Jason Momoa, is playing Blanca, which also Blanca's supposed to be Brazilian.
Wouldn't have been.
That man
I was gonna say
is
wouldn't have been my
is
first choice,
that man
but
is a Pacific Islander. Why is he playing a Brazilian guy? But yeah, I don't know. It's if it's good, it's good. Andrew Schultz is like probably gonna be the reason I don't watch this movie because he just sucks so hard that I'm just like
yeah.
legitimately, even though I don't agree with a lot of the casting, I still want to see it. But Andrew Schultz the only thing that's like, I don't know if I want to see it with this man in it, bro. That guy sucks.
Right.
Why is he in this
That's
movie?
like if he's obnoxious in his day to day, he's definitely
Yeah.
going to be obnoxious in the
Like
movie.
if he wasn't in this movie, I would legitimately be like more excited about it.
Right. Alas.
But yeah, this is coming out in 2026. I don't know, man. I don't know. It needs like fighting games don't have the best stories, but it needs to have like the characters are important. The characters and their stories and their journeys have to be good. A lot of these characters do genuinely have interesting backstories that just aren't always fleshed out fully, and like a movie or a show is like the perfect place to flesh these stories out. I want to hope that they do right by them in that sense. That the characters are at the very least interesting. That the
Right.
actors are able to portray them, well and in a very fun way, and that the action, of course, is good. But we kind of, I meant to go back to it, but I kind of like went on a tangent. But like, yeah, the ladies not being jacked, like they don't need to be like bodybuilders, just a little bit more
Muscle.
visible muscle, bigger, legs on Chun Li. Like there's just like certain things that like women aren't allowed to do, or like there are women who already have these bodies they could have hired who are actors, um that they just they didn't want to go that route. And I don't know, man. it's just it's unfortunate. Another thing I'm
Yeah.
afraid of is, we all know that women in fighting games tend to be over sexualized to an extent. um
Of
a
course.
lot less so nowadays. But they tend to for better or for worse, the sexualization tends to get saved for the stuff you have to pay for. You have to
Mhm.
pay to sexualize the characters now.
Right.
um,
Right.
they don't just sexualize them off rip. Like characters like my Shiranu from Fatal Fury, notoriously big
Mm.
breast. They show it
Oh
off
yeah.
to an extent, but nowadays it's like they've calmed down. She no longer has the idol pose where she's like swinging her body and they're just swinging back and forth, like which was an
Right.
insane thing that they used to have her do. But that's no longer her neutral pose.
We've come a long
We've come a
way.
long way, but for some reason they gave Chun-Li a boob window in her costume, which is like a thing she doesn't have in her base costumes. And I'm like, that's
Period.
unnecessary. And then they frame Cammy in a very like almost kind of infantile way that I'm like, are
Which
they
really pissed
gonna
me
be
off.
weird about the ladies in this? And if they
Probably.
are, I'm not gonna like this movie. Like it's like we've said it 1,000 times. A sexy woman is gonna be sexy no matter what. You don't have to.
Oh, of
You don't
course.
have to over exaggerate it. All you simply need to do is have a beautiful woman be in a beautiful get up on screen and have her just do normal shit, and they will be sexy. People will just
Mm.
sexualize them just for existing. And you don't have to push it. I hope that they don't push it. That they simply just
Mm.
let these women exist sexily and have that be the sex sells, rather
But
than them actively
right.
trying to show off their
Put them
bodies, or
in weird
like, yeah,
situations.
put them in weird situations. I'm like that. That's a fear of mine.
And especially like with Street Fighter, because it's like of all like definitely Street Fighter has its moments. Chun Li and Cammy come to mind specifically, but it's generally pretty okay with the women for fighting game
I mean,
standards.
Chun Li was the very
And
first woman in a fighting game ever.
right. And so it's like I don't know. It's just it gives me the ick a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Next, we have Tomb Raider Catalyst. According to TombRaider.com, Tomb Raider Catalyst marks a bold direction for the series as Lara Croft embarks on a new adventure across northern India. Tomb Raider Catalyst is set in the wake of a mythical cataclysm that has unleashed ancient secrets and awakened the mysterious forces that guard them. When the most notorious treasure hunters from around the world descend on the region, Lara races to uncover the truth buried beneath the fractured landscape and stop those who would use its power for their own gain. As the ancient world
Mm.
collides with the present, Laura must decide who to trust among rivals and allies to prevent a catastrophe and protect a secret that could reshape the future. This is released in 2027, but we're not going to talk about it yet because immediately afterwards, they announced Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. Experience the pinnacle of adventure with Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis, a stunning reimagining of Lara Croft's 1996 genre-defining game with jaw-dropping visuals powered by Unreal Engine 5, modern gameplay, and new surprises that honor the spirit of the original. Releasing in 2026. This is a remake of the first game for the 30th anniversary. Um, and in both games, Laura will have the same actress, and it's a new actress. Uh,
Hmm.
this is the beginning of what they're calling the unified timeline. They are combining the timelines of the last trilogy of Tomb Raider games, Tomb Raider, Rise of Tomb Raider, Shadow of Tomb Raider, with the original games. And the thought
Mm.
process is those three games, which chronicle kind of the origins of Laura, will take place before the first game, which is this remake, Legacy of Atlantis. And Catalyst will be
Mhm.
the furthest in the timeline. This will be the newest one.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and yeah, essentially, Legacy of Atlantis is going to be the beginning of them retconning certain things to like fit in all of the new things that they introduced in the most recent trilogy and make it all make sense. Um,
Right.
the show on Netflix, which very very randomly got a season two, and I didn't notice. I think I was being stupid because I kept seeing it in the top of Netflix and going, "Yeah, I've watched it already."
Why are you recommending
Yeah,
this to me? I've watched.
why are you recommending me the show that I already saw? And then I clicked on it. I was like, oh, they were telling me that season two was out. Um, but I also like wasn't seeing trailers anywhere. I was like, what's going on? They kind of just shadow
Right.
dropped it, and I'm like, let me know. I want to watch it. I hear it's
Right.
better, which I like the first season, but people
That's
saying
good.
that it's even better. So I'm like, I'm excited. I'm gonna watch a bit of that tonight. But yeah, that
Nice. Nice.
show
Nice.
takes place after the most recent trilogy, but I believe
Oh,
before Legacy of Atlantis. So this is exciting. I
that is exciting.
like Tomb Raider. I like the very first of the remakes. I haven't played the other two, but I have the second one on my Xbox, and I also have the and I have the third one on PlayStation. I played the first one on PlayStation. I have the third one on PlayStation because I got it through PS Plus. So I'd have to resubscribe to
Mhm.
actually play it. Um, but yeah, I have the games and I can play them whenever I feel like it. And
Yeah.
I bought two on a discount with the expectation of playing it immediately, and then got distracted by other games. I think that was this year too, so I definitely got distracted by a bunch of other games.
For
It was
sure.
stupid of me to think I was going to play that game. Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, I'm excited for both of these games. I like Tomb Raider. You know, I like
Sure.
Uncharted, and Uncharted is heavily inspired by Tomb Raider. And any
Mhm.
new Uncharted style game, I'm excited for. Uh, they are now also like unifying her looks, so now she looks like a
Good.
combination of the most recent version of her and the old one. And you know the internet's gonna internet. They're gonna grift. They're gonna still say, "Oh,
I was
she
gonna
looks like a man," even though she looks like the most conventionally attractive woman to
say.
ever conventionally
I was gonna
attract.
say. It's surprising. It's not surprising, but like it's hilarious that we're covering Tomb Raider directly after talking about the Street Fighter movie and the way they over sexualize women in fighting games because Laura Croft, despite not being in a fighting game, was the blueprint. Okay.
For sure.
The like the amount of cheat codes on forums that I saw back in the 2000s where it's like, put this code in the game and she'll take her clothes off. And it's like, okay. All right, guys.
Like yeah. You
But
know, in this new design, they do a great job of making her look sexy, but without having it be like egregious.
weird.
Like
Yeah.
she has like short shorts, she has a tank top, but like she's not showing like an obnoxious amount of cleavage. They
Mhm.
didn't like make her boobs like gigantic. Like they're like reasonably sized.
I was like, which they very much could have.
Like they're big,
But
but not like in your face big. Like they're reasonably sized. Where you're like, okay,
right.
she can exist without
As a
back
real
pain or
person.
like
Yeah.
not significant back pain. Like
Mhm.
she can reasonably do those flips.
Right.
um yeah, like I think they definitely did a good job of not, you know, like being true to the characters like sex appeal without going too far like they did back in the day.
Mhm. Mhm.
They're probably gonna have a costume where you have the polygonal boobs, which would be really
Oh,
funny.
that would be so funny. Honestly, I'd probably play the game like that. I
Yeah.
can't lie. I think the polygonal boobs are so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, next we have Invincible Versus. They introduced a completely new character, not from the comics or the show, named Elemental, voiced by rapper Tiara Whack. So that was interesting. Didn't expect to see
Mm.
like completely new character in this game. I wonder if they'll show up in a comic or something. Next, we have a game that I initially removed, but I was like, let me add that back. That looked interesting. We have Orbitals. Orbitals is a co-op puzzle adventure inspired by classic anime, coming exclusively to Switch 2 next year. And I was trying to find it on Steam, and I was like, why can't I find it on Steam? And typed it into Google, and I was like, oh, it's only on Switch. This is coming from Wesley LeBlanc at Game Informer. Shape Farm is Oh yeah, this is the studio. I was like, this game isn't called Shape Farm. Shape Farm is based in Tokyo, Japan. So it's no wonder Orbitals is a clear love letter to 1990s anime. Like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, and others. In the game, players will team up as Maki and Omura, two inseparable explorers who must brave the perils of space to save the crumbling space station they call home from a supernatural cosmic storm. It looks cool and has an art style very reminiscent of a friend of the podcast, Eric Hunter, aka Jump Boy, who previously, used to do the art for the podcast. What did you think?
It was really, really neat. Especially like stylistically. It also kind of reminded me style wise of like Rama One Half a little
Yeah.
bit. And I'm a fan of that.
Some of the
also,
NPCs look kind of Ghibli like as well.
yeah, and also I just really like how the cutscenes are animated, that they like really lean into that old anime style. Because it's like if you're gonna do it, you should like do it. Like
I don't know.
commit to it
It gives
fully.
me the vibe of several different animes because it's also giving like one of the characters, which I think that character is Let me go back to where is it? Omura looks like a character that Akira Toriyama would have designed. He's like a blue devil with like
Oh,
horns.
100%.
Like this is
And
definitely a
the
mishmash of a bunch of like popular anime from like the 80s and 90s.
right, which is fun. That's really fun, especially for a game. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything like it before.
Yeah, for sure. It looks really cool. Yeah, it's gonna be on Switch.
Hmm.
Did they see? Yeah, it looks like only Switch 2.
Yeah.
Okay. RIP Switchers.
Right.
Next, we got not unusual. What's the word I'm looking for? Unprecedented, like very early reveal of the next two Marvel Rivals characters for season 6, Deadpool and Elsa
Yeah.
Bloodstone. They were revealed in a cinematic trailer alongside a tease for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, with just Devil Dinosaur appearing in this, but there was some information put out afterwards that teased that like in that fight that they show in the trailer, Devil Dinosaur escapes and it's probably going to show up later. Like they did similar things with like Blade. So yeah, we're definitely going to see Devil Dinosaur later on. So the next season is called Night at the Museum. And of
Ooh.
course museums, and of course that movie that they're referencing especially has a giant T-Rex statue in it.
Right.
And Devil Dinosaur is a T-Rex. So I assume Devil Dinosaur is probably going to be like in the background on the stage at some point, and then later down the line, I'm going to get Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is this duo that had a cartoon at one point that got canceled because it was too woke, and I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it
But it's a
legit,
good cartoon.
yeah,
I've watched it.
it looked really good. It just it wasn't for me, but I was like, damn, I'm glad kids have that. And if I was a kid, I would have loved it. But yeah,
Alas.
it's unfortunate that they shut that down. But yeah, I'm excited to see those characters in this game, though. I'm curious to see how they'll play. I assume a tank, giant dinosaur. But if they were like a combination of support and tank, that'd be sick. Another
For sure.
new thing that they're doing that I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing is, maybe it will. Because they're gonna have Deadpool. Like Deadpool is in the character select, but it says locked and like coming soon. Which is interesting, and it says his role. They outright say he's gonna be a duelist, which is a DPS. So like, we don't have to speculate.
Right.
Like he wasn't gonna be a support character, but he could have been a tank. I could see them
Yeah.
having his healing factor be like he's very tanky because he heals so fast. That could have been cool. I'm very curious to see how they incorporate the healing factor. The way they do it with Wolverine is like when he hits zero. I don't know if it's when he hits zero because I don't play him. I don't know if it's when he hits 0 health or if he has to activate it himself. But like he can give himself bonus health. So he's hard to kill. And Deadpool would probably have something similar. Yeah, him being a DPS makes sense. And Elsa Bloodstone is probably also going to be DPS because like she hunts monsters and she has a bunch of guns. Like what else is she going to do? But I said the same thing about Gambit, because he threw the cards and the cards go boom. But then they made his cards go heal. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But I assume we're probably gonna have a double DPS season, which sucks. I never. We should never get 2 DPS season. That sucks. I hate already that we don't have an even split. Um, I don't know. I'll mention this another time, but I have an idea of how I feel like a DC hero shooter could do it better in terms of the even split between classes. But we don't have time for me to go into that. I'll talk about that another time. Next, we have No Laws. According to Steam, welcome to Port Desire, a city that doesn't belong to anyone, but where everyone wants a piece. You're Gray Harker, an ex-military attempting to live a quiet life after near fatal injuries in the field. All you want now is peace, but in a city of no laws, what you want isn't always what you get. So this kind of looks like an off-brand cyberpunk, and the main character is such a generic white dude, like buff white dude with a cop stash, and I'm just like, this is turning me off in so many ways. And then the combat started, and I was like, wait a minute, you might have got me back. The combat actually looks kind of sick. What did you think about this one if you saw it?
I thought it was neat, just not my kind of game.
Yeah, I'm just like, it could easily be good or bad. Like it's one or the other. Because I don't know, it's very derivative of things we've seen before. It's not like visually super interesting. It's just kind of like, it looks very Unreal Engine 5. Very basic, kind of just trying to look realistic and like type game. And I'm like, that's boring art direction. But the action looks like it could be fun. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Next, we got an introduction to one of the villains in 007 First Light. He rose from nothing, broke free, and built his own kingdom of Alepha, or Aleph. Meet Bauma, the largest black market dealer in the Western Hemisphere, who's as charismatic as he is unpredictable. Bauma is played by Lenny Kravitz. And Lenny Kravitz came on stage dressed like the character and presented the award for best score. Okay, we got several like relatively known actors in this. Like, what was it? Emma Chan came out at one point. I think she queued it up actually. Emma Chan came out, queued up the trailer, and then afterwards Lenny Kravitz came out. So we got, some big name actors in it. And like, I'm excited for this. Like I said before, the advertising has been kind of bad, but I do think the game's going to be good, and I am excited for it. Next, we got a story trailer for Saros, queued up by the lead actor himself, Rahul Kohli, who plays Arjun Devraj, and it still looks good, and I definitely plan on playing it since I missed Returnal. It was delayed, but only by a few weeks. It's coming out April 30th, 2026. So not a significant delay. But once things start to get delayed, you're like, is it going to happen again? But yeah, hopefully it comes out April 31st. But if not,
yeah,
like fake Miyamoto said. but yeah, Saros interests you or Returnal?
Not really, honestly.
Okay. After that, we got a performance by Evanescence singing Afterlife from the Devil May Cry anime. And in the background, we saw teasers. Full-on animated for both images and like full-on animation of season 2. Like I saw Dante fighting Virgil in the background. I was like, oh shit. I'm excited. That first season was very divisive for a lot of people, and I understand why. Also, like, one of the creators turns out to be a dickhead, so people I feel like some people also like found reasons to be upset about it just because they didn't like one of the people who make it, which I'm not a fan of that.
Right.
But the second season looks like it might be doing more of what people want. And I'm excited for it. It looks cool from the little bit we saw. And it's coming May 12th, 2026. So
wow, soon.
Yeah, we should be getting the trailer soon. That's exciting. You love to see it, stuff coming out in a timely manner. Like, didn't that come out earlier this year?
It did.
And we're already getting season 2. Like, let's go. Like, I've said it before. Real TV is back. Like, we don't got to wait 2 years for the next season or something. And it's all happening because Stranger Things is finally ending.
Yes, we're free.
Stranger Things started this precedent, and now it was not dying. It's just ending, and we'll finally be able to escape from this. Hopefully Netflix doesn't buy WB and ruin it all again.
Yeah.
But after that, we got Star Wars Galactic Racer.
Yes.
Star Wars Galactic Racer is a runs-based, high-stakes reinvention of racing born in the lawless Outer Rim. With the Empire gone and the galaxy rebuilding, the Galactic League is created. an underground, unsanctioned circuit where syndicates bankroll chaos and champions are forged. Um, this hit me in my soul. Of course, I'm a Star Wars fan, but
Right.
I'm also very nostalgic for the pod racing game on N64 because my first video game console was N64, and that was one of the like handful of games I had. I unfortunately didn't have any of the Zelda games, any Mario games, not Smash Bros, not Mario Kart, but I had this, and I played pod racing a lot with my siblings. So this hits, and it's also being made by former Burnout devs. So I want to hope this is cool. Also, it's having a story. The story is being written by some famous writer that I don't know, but I know Kind of Funny mentioned them, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, this might be lit. If it's like Star Wars Burnout, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
So
that does
like,
sound really cool.
we have to see some actual gameplay, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
Next, we got another trailer for Phantom Blade Zero, but this time with a release date of September 9th, 2026. More action. Every time we see this game, it's just a lot of action. It's another one of those games that look like it's too good to be true, but we've seen so many of those games turn out to be true. And a lot of people have gotten their hands on with this and say like, yeah, nah, that's not just like animations, that's like the combat. And it feels good and it's fun. So I'm like, okay, I'm excited for this. Comes out late next year, September 9th, which is before GTA, because GTA is November. I think GTA comes out it comes on my grandmother's birthday. Sorry, grandma. I'm gonna play GTA.
Oh no, that's crazy.
But but a couple days after my mother's birthday, my mother loves GTA. She doesn't play a lot of games, but when she does play, she plays Pac-Man, she plays Mortal Kombat, she plays GTA. So
sounds like my mom.
So it comes out after her birthday. I'm gonna play it like just a day by myself, and then whenever she's off work, I'm gonna bring my PlayStation over to her house and we're gonna play together. That'll be fun.
Nice.
But yeah, just a few games left. Next we have Megaman Dual Overdrive, which had a great build up of them playing kind of a generic song that slowly shifted into Dr. Wily's theme, which is easily the best song for Mega Man. And then I got real excited and I was like, oh my god, it's Mega Man. And then he revealed him. And yeah, this releases 2027 and will be on PS4 for some reason. Which 2027 is when the PlayStation 6 is probably coming out, but you're releasing this on PS4? That's weird. Shout out to anybody who will have a PS4 in 2027.
I guess they're trying to hit all their bases to make sure that Mega Man's return is a success.
There's not much info about this out there, but apparently Capcom is trying to make Mega Man a flagship title again. But I'm not sure if this is the way.
Yeah.
It's about time Mega Man made the leap to 3D. Why are we still getting... let me calm down. Not why are we still getting 2D Mega Man. There's room for 2D Mega Man. But give us 3D Mega Man. I want I want the Metroid Prime of Mega Man. I want, but third person, not first person. Like, I want a over-the-shoulder camera Mega Man game. Like, give it to me. What's going on? Capcom, if you're trying to make Mega Man a flagship and your thought process, let's release another game in the style of the last game that didn't do well. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's going on? You guys, they've been doing so good lately. This is a misstep. Like, if this game doesn't hit when it comes out, they might be killing Mega Man. Like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't what people want. This isn't what Mega Man fans want. If anything, go back to pixel art. That's more unique.
Yeah.
That's more unique than the generic kind of like 3D trying to look 2D style that this has.
I feel like it could benefit from the thing that Square Enix does, that like 3D or that HD 2D kind of style.
Yeah, I saw somebody mention that as well.
Like if any game would benefit from it, I feel like Mega Man would, especially if they don't want to take the push into like full 3D yet. This is, I feel like, that would be a good middle ground. And not this. This looks generic.
Yeah. Very funnily, Tony Stadavici, if you know who he is, he was like reacting to it. I think this is his first time ever like reacting to the Game Awards live, and he like saw Mega Man and was like, "Oh, Astro Boy," and everybody in the chat was like, "No, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, actually, he kind of knows ball. Like, he made a mistake and said Astro Boy, but Mega Man directly inspired by Astro Boy. For like, if you know anything about Astro Boy, Mega Man is just straight up Astro Boy."
Yeah, fingers crossed that it's not bad. At
Yeah,
the very least, it can be mid, but it can't be bad
yeah,
because if it's
exactly.
bad,
If it's bad,
Mega Man fans will starve.
we'll never see the blue bomber again because he'll just
They're
blow
gonna
up.
lock him in the bolt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But next we got like the most brief teaser for the Super Mario Galaxy movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It was just Mario and Luigi just beginning to fight Bowser Jr. and then it ended. And I was like, okay, you might as well have showed me nothing because
Right.
that's what that was. It was literally nothing. Like you
Nothing burger
should
trailer.
have just not showed up. Like that was wild. Okay, the last two things we have. The first is an actual trailer that was shown at the Game Awards, and this was the final trailer. Jeff queued it up all nice, and it was for Highguard. From the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall comes Highguard, a PvP raid shooter where players will ride, fight, and raid as wardens, arcane gunslingers sent to fight for control of a mythical continent. It's a fantasy shooter, and it comes out real soon, January 26, 2026.
Yeah.
And it sucks as the last reveal.
Yeah.
They probably gave Jeff a lot of money to make this happen because I know he probably wouldn't have made this decision himself because it's a horrible last reveal. Um, and it just, I don't know, man. That like the last half of this show kind of sucked. Up until the Game of the Year award, like it was weird. I hope it's good.
I hope
Like
so too.
I don't want it to be bad. It's gonna be free to play, so I'll probably check it out because it does look
Yeah.
interesting. Um, so I'll definitely be checking it out. But like I don't know, it was just a weird way to end things off, and it made everybody want to shit on it because of its placement. Like the
Right.
last game has to be something
A
hype,
banger.
otherwise people are just going to shit on it. Like
Yeah.
and I mean the reality is for like a lot of games that's probably better than nothing because at least people are talking about it. So
Right.
like they kind of
But it's
got what
like,
they wanted, but at the same time, the biggest
but like,
problem is that nobody's played it, but it comes out in a month. Like if they did
right.
this and then also a bunch of like journalists came out, Game Informer, GameSpot, IG, and all of them came and said, "Oh yeah, and we played it, and here's our
And it's
reviews."
good.
Exactly,
Right.
but no, nobody's touched it. Nobody knows what this is. This is everybody's first time seeing it. So we're just all like, okay, like if they did this, then like either release like a beta or like said like, oh yeah, IGN and all the other people got to play it and release gameplay videos of people playing it, then people would be excited. But no, they just announced
Right.
it,
It's
said it was
like,
coming out next month as the last reveal of the Game Awards.
and it's like that idea, that kind of like circles around a lot of the time when stuff like this happens, where it's like any press is good press. That doesn't work for video games because bad press for a video game is like, uh, it's like almost akin to failure before it even starts. Because like if the game has bad press, people, especially with like how expensive video games are nowadays, people don't hate buy games unless it's like a really like something worth hate buying, which is not something you see very often.
Yeah, like with
Because it's like, unlike,
TV and movies, people are more likely to hate watch, especially if it's a show that's on a streaming service that they already pay for.
right,
But
because it's like it's nothing. There's no effort.
video games is tougher unless it's free to play, and this one is free to play.
Exactly.
So maybe this could work in
So
their favor. Also, it
maybe.
has like big names on it, like people who worked on Apex and Titanfall, which are like some iconic first-person shooters. So like, you want to hope that means it'll be good. Like I'm not like betting against it. It was just weird.
Yeah, it's just very strange.
But of course, the last thing I want to talk about is after accepting their award, the devs at Soundfall Interactive for Clair Obscur Expedition 33 announced that the DLC that they said they've been working on that would be a free update was releasing that night, December 11th. And it did, and I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet, but I can't actually talk about it without spoiling the game, so I can't say much. But the trailer doesn't really spoil anything if you watched it. But
I did.
yeah, the entire like you have to know what happened to the game to really get spoiled. So
Right.
if you just look at it, you just go, "Oh, cool, new area." um, but yeah, it is described as in a land crafted through joy and innocence. Sometimes darkness is uncovered when imagination gets carried away, and it's this very kind of like kid-looking like amusement park kind of thing, which is really cool. and a bunch of really cool costumes that they added. Some of which are just these like really real like I mean just plain sexy cocktail dresses for the ladies in the game.
Right.
Then I'm just like I'm gonna get it. And then what is it? Mayel, who is a minor, so they just gave her this cool looking suit. Which let me make that clear to anybody out here. Mayel is a minor. She is 60 years old. Stop it.
Mm-hmm. Weirdos.
Stop it. Just stop. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's literally 2 very attractive women already in the game. Leave Mayel alone, you weirdos.
Right.
But her suit looks really nice as well, and Verso has a similar suit. Verso's waist is snatched. His waistcoat just like almost holds his shit in like a corset, like
I'm
crazy.
Conti. We love to see it.
Weren't corsets like originally made for men?
Yes, actually.
So like that man's waistcoat is real tight, and I'm like, give me one of those.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give me a 3-piece suit. Come to the next Wide Angle event looking like Verso.
That'd be fire though.
Yeah, definitely excited to check that out when I get the chance and probably fight one of the bosses that I hear is this hardest boss in the game that I hadn't gotten around to because I didn't do most of the side content, but I can now that I'm in the end game. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to that eventually. I don't know if I told you, I canceled that order of the like deluxe edition steelbook because I caught myself and I was like, I don't need it. I don't need it.
Right, I don't need it.
I was like, I have the game. I don't need it. Let's save the money. And I was specifically going to get it for PS5 because I already have it physically for Xbox. And I was like, let me stop this. What am I doing? This is crazy.
Stop this madness.
Maybe I'll still get like the steelbook separately off eBay or something someday. But like, I didn't need that. I didn't need that. But yeah, that's all from the Game Awards. If you don't have anything, did you actually watch it live?
I didn't. I didn't get a chance to. I wanted to, but I didn't. I never usually do, unfortunately.
I'm thinking next year I might have a Game Awards watch party.
A watch party would be really fun.
That could be lit. That could be. If E3 was still a thing, I would do that too. But like Summer Games Fest isn't as exciting as E3, but Game Awards is. So
for sure.
Yeah, especially like when GTA 6 is gonna be out next year. Like yeah.
Oh yeah.
Game Awards watch party for sure. But yeah, you can find all of our ads in the link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so you're notified when we post. Peace.
See ya.